So we have the respawn remedial retard, double speaking lion sewer rat, shits at 60, guns ablazing out of the gate ether argument from FED episode 1702 from 8 months ago.
Where we have electromagnetic waves that we can show, and either it has a medium that it's waving through, or it's waving through nothing, which is an asinine claim.
So we have electromagnetic waves, which this moron thinks is light, waving through a something medium because they can't wave through nothing. Therefore, his something medium is ether. Then he gets a bit more specific.
Basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right? But you have all kinds of electromagnetic fluctuations that you can measure and detect within that. And so it's like, what's the energy traveling through?
Now we have a vacuum chamber, you know, the ones we trip over when we walk around in nature, with electromagnetic fluctuations in it, which this idiot considers light. And his question proof for his retard ether is, what's the energy traveling through? Let me say that again. His question proof for his retard ether is, what's the energy traveling through? You got that? Some more light traveling to support his idiot ether claim, so there's no mistake.
Okay, well, that's why relativity was created.
Sorry, are you telling me you're going around peddling this crap to this community based on a fucking parlor trick?
No, it's based on antecedent relationship. Like,
Sorry,
it's just
what was the phenomena
framework,
studied in this highly scientific parlor trick? What was the phenomena studied?
The difference in travel of light. The difference in travel of light. The difference in travel of light.
So it's clear. The support for his asinine ether claim is the travel of light. 10 days later.
No, you're presupposing that light's traveling from point A to point B.
I'm not.
Yeah. So we got this fork-tongued double-speaking clown carry on for nearly 2 hours about his question-proof, substanceless medium ether horse shit, with his shining example, the travel of light, then has the mind-numbing Dunning-Kruger audacity for his encore performance 10 days later to charge his opponent for presupposing what? The travel of light.
No, you're presupposing that light's traveling from point A to point B.
I'm not.
So let's head back to shits at 60s, guns ablazing out of the gate ether argument from FED episode 1702.
Where we have electromagnetic waves that we can show, and either it has a medium that it's waving through, or it's waving through nothing, which is an asinine claim.
So we have electromagnetic waves, which this moron thinks is light, waving through a something medium because they can't wave through nothing. Therefore, his something medium is ether. Then he gets a bit more specific.
Basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right? But you have all kinds of electromagnetic fluctuations that you can measure and detect within that. And so it's like, what's the energy traveling through?
So we got the full story. We have electromagnetic waves in a vacuum, and the question proof is, what's the energy traveling through? And is confirmed again here.
What does the electromagnetic wave propagate within?
Let's pinpoint exactly what these electromagnetic waves are.
I can shoot a laser through a vacuum chamber, and it
Why
gets
would
to
you
the
do
other
that?
side.
So shooting a laser through a vacuum chamber means he's shooting light. Therefore, the electromagnetic waves he's speaking to is light. 10 days later.
So I never claimed that light is a wave.
What does the electromagnetic wave propagate within? I can shoot a laser through a vacuum chamber, and it
Why
gets
would
to
you
the
do
other
that?
side.
So I never claimed that light is a wave.
So what's left after lying and double speaking for nearly 4 hours? Folks, I have over 8 hours of videos on my channel assessing every single doublespeak, logical fallacy, outright lie, and made up on the spot contradicting piece of horse shit spewed from the despicable dipshit Shits at 60. So again, what's left? Yep, you guessed it. The only port in the storm. This schmuck outright denies the very argument that he made for his fuckwit ether. 4 days ago, 24/7, Flat Earth Discord.
My position is not light goes through a vacuum, thus it must have a medium in it because light needs a medium to travel through. That is not, no, okay? I never.
What the hell did you just say?
My position is not light goes through a vacuum, thus it must have a medium in it because light needs a medium to travel through. That is not, no, okay? I never. Well, we have electromagnetic waves that we can show, and either it has a medium that it's waving through, or it's waving through nothing, which is an asinine claim. My position is not light goes through a vacuum, thus it must have a medium in it because light needs a medium to travel through. That is not, no, okay? I never. Basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right? But you have all kinds of electromagnetic fluctuations that you can measure and detect within that. And so it's like, what's the energy traveling through?
The prosecution rests for now. Flat Earthers, what are you gonna do? And we're off. As usual, if you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. Like to shift it over to the beautiful Betty Van Velsen, but unless she squeaked in here within the past 3 minutes, then I don't think I'm going to be passing it over to her. Let's find out. The beautiful Betty Van Velsen.
What are you gonna shift me to?
Oh, you did make it right. Yeah. How's it going, girl?
Yeah, I got myself a nice bowl of salad, like coleslaw with tuna and feta cheese.
What's up with this tuna, man?
It's nice, it's healthy.
Yeah, ironically, I just fed tuna to my cat.
Me too. We got the rest of the can that I opened.
Fair enough. You know what? I've had tuna salad before. It's not all that bad. I don't think that we ought to be getting into food just right now. I think a lot of people would most likely be disappointed. I mean, I don't know how to act because...
I disagree. I want to get into this salad myself.
Okay, you can get into the salad. I was going to say, I really don't know how to act because I've been doing these treatments, you know, back to back, and I haven't really interacted with anyone, so my social skills may be lacking.
Wow. You only realize that right now?
Hey, stow that shit.
So first you have almost 3 hours, and now it's almost 4 hours, right?
I can't help it. I don't look at the clock, right? I just play the things. Now, yes, I'll tell you, yesterday evening, it was really painful. So
Did you come to the end, or did you stop previously?
I
Close to the end.
now I'm not doing it. It's the end for
So you didn't get to the end even.
I don't. I got near the end. I kept on asking them, the audience out there to give me sort of a placement where I could end, because it was excruciating, because we just kept circle jerking back to the same stupid dumb points that he made, and twice I can understand. 18 times I'm ripping my hair out.
You don't have much hair.
I do have a lot of hair. I just choose to make it short.
So how can you can't even grab onto it to tear it out.
You know what I'm trying to right now? And you're right. It's like a little bit, I need tweezers.
It's even more painful.
I'll tell you what, it was so bad. I don't know if you listened to it.
No, I haven't. Do you think that I have 4 hours of my precious time? Right.
But
Towards time. I know there's much fans, because you have much fans on those treatments, I think. Many people like them.
yeah, but you haven't heard that rocks are causing waterfalls?
I made the thumbnail.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, sorry about that. Yes, you
Do you
did.
think that I have like sort of premonition or something?
All right, don't push it. You made your point.
Don't push it.
All right, so it's good to have you back. I don't think.
If you think about it, to be honest, come on, let's go think about it. If
Oh,
there
brother.
wasn't rocks, right, and everything would be like wet sand, I mean, we wouldn't have waterfalls for sure.
What were you eating again?
Yeah, well, if you think about it, I mean, you can sort of change the course of a river when you drop a rock.
That wasn't the subject.
I understand, but there's something that's something is still causing something.
I love it.
This claim is sort of causing your treatments.
I love it. I love your attention to excruciating detail.
Yeah, I know you do.
But we have other people in here. It's nice to have you back, though, because I think didn't you miss the last show, or am I mistaken again?
Last week I wasn't here, but I saw I think I saw Adam in there somewhere.
Yeah, and he's in here today. Let's say hello to Adam. Can you say hello to Adam?
Yes. Hello, Adam.
Hello, mate. We have been tagging in and out the past few
You've been
weeks.
tagging in and out?
I did last week.
Ah. Are you still in Italy?
No, I got home this weekend.
Oh, okay. So you have to be going back to work then, huh?
Yeah, that's my excuse for missing both of these reviews from QE.
Treatments.
Treatments. Yeah, excuse me.
Did you?
Yeah, that's my excuse. I honestly, I haven't had a chance to. I watched the thing live, and I've commented a bit, but I haven't had a chance to listen to it. I went to bed last night. I was fast asleep literally before you really got going. I heard the first bit of the where you muted yourself. Put simply, and I was fast asleep after that. I can't remember any more of it. So.
Well, no, that's okay. That's okay, because that's all right, Betty. That's all he needed to hear.
The silence from you?
No, because what I did the other night, I mistakenly put myself on mute. I was clearing my throat, and I pushed the mute button. I didn't want to, I don't want to cough in the mic and stuff, so I put myself on mute, and I forgot about it. It just so happened to be probably the most crucial part at the beginning, where he had more or less the treasonous, treacherous traitor Hanoi Jaren debunked himself. I mean, really quick. So all the rest of the video is just death throes of a retard. But that was a really important point, so I wanted to start there. So that was the meat of it. Follow?
So we didn't hear the meat of it?
Yeah, no, not initially, Betty, but last night you did because I replayed the part where I was on mute.
Oh. That explains the four and a half hours.
It doesn't explain it. I can't explain it. I don't want to explain it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. A big mistake by you.
But I had to do it.
You need to when you you need to have someone in a sort of a whisperer. A big
Yes.
whisperer.
Yes, somebody suggested you.
In the middle of the night? No way.
Yeah.
There's never going to be an end to this.
Yeah, I think it was Sasha. I think it was Sasha. Maybe it was somebody else. No, it was refracted curvature. It said he made a suggestion. It says you might need a little assistance and to go ahead and ask Betty. Like John probably never thought that I thought of that option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you might think of the option, but you don't think of the option of that there is someone in need of sleep in a certain time frame.
Yes, I did. I tried. I didn't want to, get into a long explanation why, but I sort of told him that, I had actually that paperwork has come across my desk, and given that it was from you, that I gave it its due diligence.
Did you learn something?
I kind of already knew the answer before the papers crossed your desk.
No, I mean, did you learn now something about what you need to do?
Yeah, but it's impossible. I'm not doing the treatment at, early in the morning or early in the afternoon. I'm just not doing that.
Early in your morning?
Yeah, early in my morning or early in the afternoon, just so I can have somebody here. I'm not doing that.
Well, there's many people from America as well that are, I think, in Skype, so you can maybe them to.
Yeah, usually they do that. Betty, they'll ring me. Righteous did it the other night, but yeah, and I appreciate that. But that's okay. We'll figure out the logistics later. We don't want to talk about the logistics of a treatment show. Everyone's going to get bored and leave.
All right, so what do we want to talk about?
What you're eating.
Well, we know.
Because that's why they came here. I don't think they know that, but that's actually why they came here.
I don't think so. I saw something in the chat. Betty is back. Did you hear about the new and improved way to make tea? You're gonna need an oven.
You're gonna need an oven. That's incorrect. Yeah, Kim, he was rubbing armpits. Yeah, I just see that comment. That's too funny, and she's in here. Yeah, well, no, you're not gonna need just any old oven. It's gonna have to be a easy bake.
I'm not a kitchen princess, to be honest.
Yeah, that was pretty.
I don't know how to prepare an egg, for crying out loud.
Yeah, it was pretty stupid. It's just so stupid, so pathetic. Right? It's hard to describe it any other way. I know why. I don't know. I haven't heard people actually state the reason why. But it's really simple concept to understand. It's all about the second grade playground. See, if you're not the most popular group in town and you want to be the most popular group in town, then you somehow have to subterfuge the most popular group in town so you can kind of elevate your position to be the most popular group in town. Do you follow what I'm saying? It's just as simple as that. Yeah. So you'll do anything because you're in second grade. So the actions, the mentality, the dumbass arguments, subterfuge, like I said, then that all follows that. It's really that simple. I can give you a couple other analogies, but I'll think I'll hold them to myself for right now. They're not appropriate for the show.
But it is not for your onesie?
I think I stated something to that effect with me onesie.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's really all it comes down to. It's really quite stupid if you've
I
listened.
know you always say that you don't need or shouldn't be sort of trying to ascertain where people come from and what their motives maybe are or emotional state or whatever. For example, with Jaren, and because he's one of the guys that I watched in the beginning in 2016, well 14, even then 14, and he was there already. He was one of the first that made videos, and what he greatly did then was sort of picture how it could work, how the whole flat earth could work, just with the seasons, with other stuff, and it helped me a lot. And so when I now see him in the video with Nathan, it's like he's sort of out of his league and still wants to on the science part, and wants to be just against the things, like hyper skeptical, like these Pete and Pete guys. Remember those?
Yeah.
Those are so hyper skeptical. Are they still around? By the way, I don't know.
I have no
watch.
idea.
And it sort of went a little bit too far. He should have sort of welcomed the whole flat earth debate and what we're doing here with science and not sort of speculating. If he's doing that, just say that you're speculating. Just there's a sort of a route to go, I think, where people want to listen to that stuff, but just say that you don't really know, that you don't have the science for it, for all these speculations that or the assumptions or things that you sort of believe with the waterfall and whatever. Right? I mean, if you should have left it there, we could have had a nice coexistence. Just stick to your best things that show us why the earth could work in a different way. Show people that sort of beginnings.
Hey,
I
I know you're not a kitchen princess, right? But was your mum any good at cooking?
Excuse me.
Right,
Hello?
it's going somewhere. It's going somewhere.
Hey.
Hold on, original D Rose. Hold on, Adam speaking. Let Adam speak. You can go after him. Go, Adam.
I don't. It's the volume, man.
Go ahead, D-Rose.
No. Real quick, I just want to say, QE, can you either turn down the dynamics on your mic or Betty? Well, I thought it was only Betty's mic, but even when Adam spoke, the volume difference. It's like in order to hear Betty, I had to turn up the volume.
D-Rose. Go to QE, right click, and turn him down.
Oh, I don't know.
And then everybody in balance.
Yeah, but he has a good. Hold on, original D Rose.
I could do that. I don't know.
Oh my God, Betty, your volume is low. Okay.
I know, because I'm a little bit away from my laptop because I have a plate in front of me.
What's on the plate?
I think I told you, coleslaw, tuna, and feta cheese.
Right, so back to my original question, right?
Go on.
Is your mum good at cooking?
Adam, Hold on a second. Hold on a second, Betty. Adam, your mic is screwing up too.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Gremlins.
Yes.
Is that better yet?
Yep. Drop out, Adam, and come back in, please.
Is that
I
better?
think it's better. You're louder now.
Go ahead. Give me a sentence, Adam.
How about, would your mum cook, Betty?
Nope. It's still bad.
No, it's for me. It's a little better. I think.
Okay. Speak up.
Speak it up. I'm a speaking it up. I know you hear me, QE.
Yes. Now that's better. Both of you speak the heck up. Okay? Don't mumble. Go.
Lost the point, and there was. There you go. Hey, if your mum had said to you, "Betty, go and boil me some water," and you'd have come back and said, "Mum, I've put the oven on," would she have been happy? I know you're not a kitchen princess, so.
Yeah, I think then therefore you should make that analogy. What is an oven? That was a joke, by the way.
You were alluding to science. There's been such a long delay. You were alluding to science and basic comprehension. One of the things that made me laugh in these things are statements like that. It's appeal to nonsense, not just appealing to absolute zero, but appealing to things that are just clearly nonsensical. Yeah, to prove a point, like I put water in the oven and it didn't boil. Yeah, anybody with half a common sense or a grasp on reality. That's why I use that analogy. If your mum asked you to go and boil me some water, you came back and said, "I've put the oven on," would that have been a sensible thing to do? This is the arrangement of response that I've heard. It's quite sad, really. I know you're going to go into bits, but these are the things I hear. The quality of the argument is just strange. Is the only thing. It doesn't. I can't grasp. We talked this afternoon slightly about what might be the motivation. I don't want a cast accusation because I can't prove anything. It's beyond strange. It's beyond baller level. The response, to be perfectly honest, in terms of it not being based in anything and just being distraction. To the point that at some point, a rebuttal to whether science proves things and whether adding heat to water makes it boil is a supposed rebuttal in 2023 from someone, as you said, Betty, has been around for a long time. Is, yeah, well, if I put water in the oven and leave it there all day, it won't boil. What are we dealing with here? Is this the movement that's trying to figure at least how much we're being lied to? That seems to be what's been forgotten. If we're going to respond to each other, those sorts of things. I think I finished my rant.
Hey, Adam, should I allude to what you advised me to mention before I forget?
I specifically wrote, bring this up in the open forum on QE. It's in the open forum bit. That follows afterwards. This is just you.
Not now?
We'll do it now.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Valid point. Yeah,
okay.
I know.
I want, because that's
put
perfect.
The fucking crowbar in, then you may as well carry on, hadn't you?
Did I crowbar or did I just actually?
No, it was smooth it was so smooth, bro. Honestly.
Well, anyway, earlier I had mentioned on
you can't carry on now.
I can't.
Superseded. No, you've been superseded by Betty.
Huh? Do I do it? Do I say it or not?
Oh, let the super chat come in.
Oh, super chat. Good.
Yeah, shall I shout that super chat out first? Let me do that. It's from Tony Whitcomb. He says, I get the feeling that Jaren is pushing the science don't prove nothing to get the in the ether proof that he won't prove with or without the scientific method. Taying not to divine his thoughts, but that's my take on it. You guys get that?
Makes sense.
QE?
I'm
Are you
sorry. I'm sorry. I was on mute.
again?
And,
I'm
and
so, hold on a second. Sorry. I was on mute. I was talking. I was on mute. So the Tang is trying not to divine his thoughts, but that's my take on it. That's Tony Wickham's take on it. I appreciate that, Tony. Thanks for the super chat.
Yep, thanks.
I've seen that sentiment a couple of times now. I think we've made.
I think
I have alluded to it previously.
Original D Rose is on, right? Adam, weren't we going to give him a try?
I was just responding to that, but
I was
yeah,
just-
yeah, that. Well, I like what Adam was saying. He was about to say, yeah, we've spoke about that as far as the reason, what's the motive for Jaren trying to dodge the responsibility of his ether claim with scientific proof, which he doesn't have. So he wants to use the word misuse, and another person that misuses it. And I don't want to be pedantic about it, and I think that's one of the problems with these guys. They think we're being pedantic because we're like, tomatoes, tomatoes, potatoes, potatoes. But they don't understand that when you speak about science and you put that against something you're claiming and you're speaking about physics or science, you have to be, like QE say, hyper-specific. And Dave Weiss, when he made a claim, this is what he does in all his introductions. He explains to people about how us traveling in so-called outer space in a vacuum where we're supposed to be spinning and orbiting in a vacuum is not scientifically possible or proven. Now, then he says, but to be able to travel in outer space, and he'll go into the extraterrestrial and extra terrain, meaning extra lands, extra worlds, meaning that outer doesn't mean up, it means out. And then that traveling out there, then he'll show a map, this kind of map that shows us within a certain realm with an ice wall around it. And then he'll show a whole bunch of things, which he calls ponds. And I know if y'all have listened to him, y'all have heard him say this. And he'll say that, now that, to me, is scientifically provable or probable. Either way, he's using scientific in a misuse. And that's the thing that we try to say, don't do that, because it is not anything to do with science. First of all, which you're even putting up a category fallacy, but to even put science in the same thing as your imaginary, not proven extra worlds or ponds or whatever you call it. But these guys, they think that we're being pedantic with it. They think we're being nitpicky, whereas we should be able to get the general text of their argument and understand that they're trying to just concur with what we're saying, but they're doing it in such a fallacious way. They're causing the feast of nonsense to allow Jarens and Witzits to be able to, and Weisses to be able to reign and brainwash people and dock them with bullshit.
Oh, okay. We're good. We got the point. You need to see me after the show for a class on conciseness. Okay.
Evening, guys.
Did he
Okay.
mute himself again?
Well, we got to have a class on conciseness, and yeah, I got you. I wanted to introduce Flatzoid. Hey, Flatzoid, what's going on, sir?
Hey, good on yourself. It's nice to actually be on here for a while. I'm not streaming tonight. So.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
You're usually right in the conflict of my show. You're usually running the same show, right?
No, on Tuesdays I don't stream because of your
okay.
show. So I take the night off on Tuesdays to spend the time with my wife.
Ah, okay. Fair enough. Welcome.
But yeah, you're kicking it awesome lately. Really loving the reviews.
Was I not kicking it awesome before?
Just supernova now.
I'm just messing with you, man. Yeah. Colt, what are your thoughts on the situation?
Everybody knows me. I'm very vocal about it. I still see Jaren as acting as a flat earther. I still see him, as I explained, as a analogy with the Trojan horse. I see him and Whitsitt and the whole Globebusters as the Trojan horse. They've become very comfortable in their situation, and they know everybody. A lot of people have been so gullible just to accept everything as they say, and I think it's time to stop that. The time for playing nice with them is over, in my opinion. If they can't show respect and show respect for the rest of us with actual arguments, then to riddance with them. Then why the hell are they here? If they can't be up to our standards, then they shouldn't be called flat earthers.
Damn, I like where your mind's at. You knew I wasn't going to say anything about it. Okay, all right. Anything else?
Can I shout out the super chat?
Oh, yes, please.
Okay. This is Slow-Mo Moon Buggy. Buggy. Nice name. Any man can make mistakes, but only an idiot persists in error, says Marcus Tullius Cicero.
I've heard of that person.
It's a quote, right?
It is a quote. He put quote marks around it.
But how do you do that when you say it?
I'll tell you what, that's Slow-Mo Moon Buggy. How long you been out here, Slow-Mo Moon Buggy? You don't have to super chat that. Just put it in the regular chat. I thought I've seen that name a while ago. Maybe it's a name that's similar, but I thought I've seen that name back in the day.
Yep. Slow-Mo Moon Buggy.
I like it. Yes,
the things that Jaren did back in the day was going to NASA a lot and showing off these stupid things that they did.
All good things.
Yeah.
Weren't they? They were all good things.
Yeah.
I used to watch InfoWars as well, and I can critique them now. They were part of the journey in waking you up, you know?
Yeah.
I don't see InfoWars going back on themselves too much or going against things, saying that the government's telling you the truth now. That's the issue we've got here, I think. It's just, before it goes too far, just to, as D-Rose did crowbar it in, the reason why I said bring it up was just because it was David Weiss against Jaren, in terms of the contradictions of whether science does or doesn't prove things, and that goes back to Tony's super chat as well. That's the contradiction. There's just not. It's an impasse. It's kind of why we're all here like this, debating with Whitsitt, or debating with Jaren, whatever's going off, or taking a stand. This is the point. Yeah, you can't kind of get past this point. This appears to be where we're at, and that's why that clip is powerful, because their side, what are they saying? Yeah, whether or not David Weiss is using it, D-Rose, for space or whatever, ice walls, whatever, it doesn't really matter. He's using its validity and saying it does prove things. Whether he's then going to describe pseudoscience doesn't matter. One person on that side that's saying that powerful message, us, and then on the other side we've got Jaren. I don't know what Whitsitt's stance this week is. We've got Jaren saying it doesn't. What kind of presentation to the 99% of the people that are wandering over to Flat Earth does that make? What impression does it make? That's the purpose of the stand here. If we're wrong, demonstrate to us, and I'm sure we'll have the humility to move forward with that knowledge, that extra weapon. I'm sure we all did have 4 years ago at least, and used to batter ballers. Why we're giving up, I don't know, but maybe that's what we're here for.
Yeah, but you see, that's the thing. I'm saying that's the thing that I've seen lately. They don't want to progress with the argument. they have a problem if they're not the originators from an argument. If they didn't come up with the geometric horizon being debunked, then it's not. Then it's redundant. If they don't come up with scientific evidence, they don't want it to be argued because they want to be the arbiters of what should be accepted, and they want to be behind the argument. So they got an ego trip. They want to be seen as the guys for flat Earth.
Yep.
And stuff everybody else that's in their way.
Yep.
That's what they want.
Yep. I just spoke to that. We are the tip of the spear. Duh. They're on the second grade playground. They want to be the tip of the spear. I already spoke to this. And it just boils down to that. So how do you get to be the tip of the spear? You try to feebly take out the tip of the spear guys to make you the tip of the spear now. Follow? It's really just second grade playground now. All right? That's all that this is from the beginning. So, but now it's gone a little too far into treasonous, treacherous traitor, and there's no going back. There ain't no forgetting. You're lying, you're double speaking, all that stuff is going to come out in the fall. I told you, clown shows. 8 months ago, I revoked your fucking charter. You think I was kidding? So, flat earthers, what are you going to do?
Someone is asking for 4 more hours in a super chat. It's Rob King.
Rob's been in there the past 3 treatments, man. In fact, why wasn't he first?
Well, because he chatted later.
Thanks, Betty. Whew. It was confounding. So,
yeah.
Way to get me off my rant.
Sorry.
Hey, just out of curiosity, did y'all hear everything I said? Because it sounded like it was a technical issue prior to you introducing flats.
No, we got
I don't know if my mic. Okay,
Yeah, you sound at them, yeah.
All of it.
We got it. You're good.
I even referenced back to it, D-Rose.
That should have given the game away.
What was a clue?
Oh,
I
Go
was
ahead,
thinking.
Go ahead,
I was
Flatfoot.
thinking.
No,
I
sorry.
was listening to one of the talks you had with Dave or something that calls himself a true earther, and I was thinking today. It's so true what you were saying. They don't want to be classified as flat earthers, and I've seen this especially with the Witsit movement. They just want to be true earthers. So they're trying to discredit the whole flat earth in itself, the name, to try and become so-called true earthers when they can't even describe what it is. So it's it's redundant, whatever they're trying to push on us.
Yeah, but they keep going about this scientific method and the shape of the Earth. We're talking about the shape of the Earth. That scientific method's got nothing to do with it, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly. Shapes, not science.
If you want to talk about the Michael Morley experiment and all this bollocks and give it ether, then that's just a different story. It's a different conversation. We're talking about the shape of the Earth. Scientific method don't come into it.
Yeah, exactly. Science is not shape related.
Exactly. Chick, chick, boom.
Truth my ass. They ain't looking for no truth. They looking for what y'all said prior. They want to be the arbitrators of everything. They got egos. And they'll lie, scratch, and bite and knock anybody out the way in the most nefarious way in order to achieve that.
Well,
Fuck you, Sharon.
Yeah. But
They're
hold on a
going-
second. Go ahead, Elijah. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
they're the ones that, are too dumb to be covert about it. And they're very clearly trying to push this idea that everything is subjective and there is no truth, because things that are true are subject to change. But truth doesn't change. I just had a debate earlier on with a kid, these people that we from 24/7, we call them those that are afflicted with the mind virus. They'll say, well, yeah, you can call this reality, or is it? Because am I really sitting down talking to you on Discord? Perhaps I'm in another dimension where I'm not talking to all this BS. And it's like, well, words do mean things, and you can't use words in a way that will contradict itself in your next statement. That makes no sense. And they don't want that to be true, because the people that are covert about it can't get their ideas of pseudoscience in. And I think that's where all the anger comes from, is because we're stopping them at the door, and they have ideas that they want to fantasize about and dream about. But God only gave us what's true. It either is or it isn't. And that's just where we're at. That's where I'm at. So
I wanted to ask that. Where are you at? Because you're part of the crew. And part of that debate panel is we're all different, and we've taken different positions on this. Yeah, from one extreme to the other. You, I would suggest, is in that L curve in the middle, and was a lot more gracious in the past in terms of your approach. I don't see that same approach anymore. Why and what's changed for you? And that relates to when I say you're in that bell curve. This is what Q is asking. What are you going to do, flat earthers? What's changed for you, dude?
yeah, I see. Well, it's one thing to not divine others' intentions. It's another thing to recognize patterns of behavior. So while I can't assume or presume anyone's thoughts without them just saying, yeah, this is what it is, I can detect patterns of deceit. And honestly, I'm not God. I can't read your thoughts, but to me, a lie is a lie. Some people think that you have to know that somebody's intentionally doing it, but either something is true or it's false. That's where I'm at. So it's like I'm kind of getting less patience for those who are lying, whether they know it or not.
Can I just say something as
Okay.
well, guys? Just like we're asking where the flat earthers are at, and that's what we're talking about, flat earth. Yeah. And they're talking about the scientific method with other bullshit involved, like the fucking, light moving through the sky at different rates and all. That's a different conversation. But what pissed me off with Witzik was when he was. Now, what's pissed me off is that he was saying he started bringing the elevation argument into it. So that is a flat Earth argument to me. That's about the shape of the Earth, obtaining the elevation angle from a baseline and getting the radius from the observer and the GP. And he's saying that you can do that from a curved surface. That's my book.
We need to pull that back, right? The point of this engagement, we didn't go chasing them. There's a line, and that was, you saw it by where Nathan was. What was the point of the retraction? He didn't want any of the personal stuff retracting. Just that he was a scammer because he said that the scientific method proved things. Well, there's a stand here today. None of the rest of it. That can be argued later. Remember the purpose of the stand. Remember, why would you want to give up that tool? Why would it be so horrific to fellow flat earthers and important to disprove that?
Adam, I think he's got the scientific method wrong, because when I spoke to him today, he's bringing up. I'll just take it back to heat, making water boil. Then he wants to know what heat is, and that's like a what is question. because he's saying heat could be connected to electromagnetism and magnetism and all this. That's a different story. What we're saying is heat makes water boil. Yeah, we know that. If you want to now talk about what is heat, that's a different entire story.
There's a million things we can
totally
grab
different.
on. And there's a million things we can grab on with what Jaron's been saying, because it fundamentally all of them disprove he doesn't understand what you're saying. That's what we heard the other night. Yeah, and we've all got little sound bites we can use to demonstrate that, and I say that's good. But remember, the purpose of the stand is to just declare Nathan's aim is to make sure that we do realise that the scientific method does prove things.
Yeah.
Whatever reason, yeah, they want to undermine that. I don't know why. That's why there's a stand here. Just stay on target, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because it's like it's interesting. You ask, what is heat? I can simply take your hand, walk you to my stove, turn on the stove, fill up a pot, put water on top, tell you to put your hand above it, and go, that's heat. Now, can you do the same thing for, I don't know, something like, let's just use something, for example, the ether? What is ether? I can't walk someone over to some phenomenon that's happening and go, this is what that is. What's wrong with being able to have a distinction between what is and what isn't?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What is magnetism? Okay, no, I got you, player. Don't worry. I walk over to my refrigerator, right? And I pull off the magnet, and let my family photo fall. Well, that was magnetism right there. You felt that, right? Mm? What's electrostatics? Hold on, give me a second. I blow up a balloon. I rub it on my head a little
Step
bit.
away from the mic. Step away from that mic right now. You're no.
That's static electricity.
That's static electricity.
Static electricity. That's right.
Yeah.
Static electricity. I go ahead and rub the balloon on my head, and I go stick it to the wall. There goes static electricity. All of these things are things. Yeah, sure. But you can't beg the question of something just because. Like, that's not. We obviously we've been talking about logical fallacies for I don't know how long. And we know the two things that the ballers use is affirming the consequent, well, the three, affirming the consequent, begging the question, and reification.
They specialize in that.
Well, I mean, the thing with I had Whitsett on my channel a few months ago, and he told me the horizon as optical is redundant. And what's his main argument these days? Oh, optical horizon. After he literally goes on against me, telling me we shouldn't attack horizon being optical.
That's my thing, mate. That's my thing. We can talk about the scientific method. I know Adam's saying stay on point, and I am doing, but they're also saying about the elevation angle, you don't need a flat baseline. So I'm all I'm concerned with is the shape of the Earth. Me personally. So you can talk about the scientific method as much as you want. I'm not really bothered. To tell you the truth.
I don't want to attack you on that. Let me just make this distinguishment here. I've been talking about lack of understanding of the scientific method. That whole argument demonstrates another lack of understanding, which is understanding what celestial navigation is. When you use that phrase, it doesn't mean obtaining an elevation angle. That's what I'm alluding to there. So that's just a complete lack of understanding of a particular subject matter. He's been told by the ballers, demonstrated with pictures, that you can do celestial navigation on a ball. Look, let me move this tangent around the ball. And if you're not really paying attention or don't care for whatever reason, to scrutinise what a ball has told you, or read a celestial navigation book and understand it, and you might be able to come to that conclusion. These are the kind of behaviours we're questioning.
I know, but he's a flat Earth. He's supposedly a flat Earth, and he's saying you can get an elevation angle from a single point.
Yeah, and I think that's like I say, stay on point. Look at the bait you're biting on. Nothing to do with scientific method is my point.
I think
I know what you're saying, Adam. But what my point is, we're talking about the shape of the Earth, and the scientific method has got nothing to do with the shape of the Earth.
No, and that's your prerogative, as you said. I was just reminding what the point of this argument has come from.
When he says you can get an elevation angle from a single point of a globe, which is what Wizit has said.
Yeah, but I think the main thing you should take is he literally said that you can't debunk a geometric tangent, which is false. I mean, that's what the black swan is there for. It's debunked it thoroughly. So the mere fact that he says that tells me that he's just being dishonest, because he's literally using globe arguments and then just throwing flat Earth under the bus for what? Is it ignorance or dishonesty?
I don't know. But I was there today, and Eli did a fucking great job for 2 hours, and I'm proud of Eli. But what I'm saying is the
envy.
Superchat.
Ching.
You mean when Eli conceded that you can't actually
And
prove
he's talking.
Super chat.
Super chats. There's one from Rob Kinnigan. He says, "That's how you know you're being scammed." Go on.
Oh, but he never said that.
I just said it's envy. It's none of those things. It's all just envy, and it's silly to me.
Agreed, Neil. Agreed.
I'm not going to define motive, Neil. You don't need to. Recognise the behaviour as trustworthy, taking you forward or not.
No, but Adam, I understand what you're saying, but there's a few things that he said that points directly to freaking envy. Are we that way? If somebody comes up with a good argument, we're right behind them. I don't get it.
With envy or not is, listen to his argument. Listen to what he proposes to you. Don't worry about his motivation. Yeah. It's not of concern. Not how you should form your judgment, whether or not you think he's envious of whatever. Yeah? He can be envious and still be right, can't he? So listen to the argument.
Yeah, but he's not. And another thing with that son of a bitch, I don't know how Nathan held his tongue, because I want to mangle him into a million pieces, and then I want to go to Tennessee and whip the shit out of that freaking Oliver Heaviside looking piece of shit, lying sack of shit.
Hey, Neil, calm it down.
Okay.
and Witzit's point today, I mean, he kept bringing this up, was like, he can't talk about the Marcus and Morley experiments, even though, because he's told it's not an experiment. But it's okay for like the FED crew to talk about the double slit experiment, and that involves like fucking lights and a fucking.
Here it goes again.
Whoa! But double slit has an actual IV and DV. Michelson Morley to propose the ether doesn't have an IV and DV. That's just correlation based on bias belief. Now
the thing that he changed today, which is great, he didn't mention ether. He mentioned, supposedly, I don't know the truth of this, that the light, at a certain fucking altitude, I don't know if it's true or not. He didn't mention ether. No, if light is doing something at a certain altitude and moving with the sky, well, that's great. Let's have a chat about it. But, what's that? It's not proving the fucking shape of the Earth, is it? So that's another conversation.
The whole Michelson-Morley thing is again a point of contention, and it's worth
Sorry, Adam,
recognizing.
sorry, Adam, I love you, man. he was pushing that in though. I think that all that with Elijah before he had to get that in, this Michael Munson Morley and the light, and he didn't mention ether today, but that's where it was going, I think.
But
And
the nerve to say profound. I'm sorry, real to say profound. The profundity of saying, "Ooh, the the horizon is optical," right? The nerve. Ooh, the lights in the sky are moving. How profound.
See, that's why I want to. Oh God.
Hey guys, what's going on? Doesn't sound too great.
Okay. What validity is the Michelson-Morley demonstration going to put? How would we give validity to that demonstration? What word could we use? Experiment, which is in contention. Even if we use the word experiment, what level of proof? Would it be scientific proof? This is the point in contention, isn't it? What's that worth? What are the requirements for that? Or do we make objection, even amongst flat earthers, that Michelson-Morley isn't it? I've got no problem. Go back retrospectively, yeah? In your IV, your DV, and demonstrate it. Use all the data. Yeah? Do it, but tell me what you're proving there. Yeah? This is the issue with it and why we have contention with it. And
I'm sorry, I was pulled out of the feast of nonsense.
Science
I'm not
prove
going back.
things. Now, if we're going to say no and then turn around and say, but this quasi-experiment does prove something, where have our standards gone? So I'll go back to the question, does science prove anything? That's what you flat earthers need to be arguing about. Not whether this point of Jeranism at this point is not. Does it or does it not? And then once you've made your decision, take your path forward.
What do you mean decision? What decision is there to make?
Well, yours is slightly more clouded. It seems to be a requirement of revenge as well as taking your own path forward.
No, we know what the scientific method, we know it proves things. It doesn't, I was told that years ago. Science doesn't prove, it disproves. And I bought that shit. I bought all that Michelson-Morley. I was in the feast of nonsense. I got pulled out when I found QE and flat earth debate. Why are you trying to, every time I get out, they pull me back in. I'm not going in there.
Who claimed that the double slit on its own was an experiment? I was just curious about that.
I was going to ask which one they're talking about because I hear there's more than one.
Well, no, the double slit is a recreation of a natural phenomenon, right? There's experiments surrounding it. So which one is not an experiment of those experiments?
Is this a trick question?
Oh, snap. Oh, snap. Never mind, sorry.
There's a double slit observation and a double split experiment from what I can gather.
Double slit is just the recreation of the diffraction phenomenon we experience in nature. But then there are experiments with the double slit as well. So what are, you can't just say double slit's not an experiment. That's nonsense.
One's a demonstration and one's an experiment.
No.
No.
Go ahead, Q,
There's many demonstrations that are classified as experiments that are not experiments, right? That have double slit in front of them. But there are many others that are double slit experiments. So you have to be hyper specific into what you're speaking to. Not vague, ambiguous horse shit. This is quite easy to understand. Sorry.
Yeah, that
But-
was my point. Like, if you're going to claim that there's an experiment using the double slit that's not an experiment, we can look at that on its own validity. But there are double slit experiments that are done all the time. I don't see how someone can make that claim.
This isn't about any double slit experiments. It's not about quantum mechanics. It's about the tip of the spear and not being the tip of the spear. That's all this is.
Thank you.
Exactly.
That's what I said.
And why would then, if I was to use that analogy, being the tip of the sphere, what's that tip? What's the powerful end of that spear?
Just feel
Scientific
threatened.
method.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's just they feel threatened. That's
No,
the whole
but
thing.
As Neil
On
said,
every
it's a
yeah, but it's
scientific method, and that is what I've reiterated. That's what's being attacked now. Its validity. Will
But
you flat earthers give up its strict empiricism, and therefore the certainty it gives you? You can feel cozy in a new place, full of ether and magnetism. Yeah, and
yeah,
replace.
but that's not the only thing they're attacking, though. It might be one of the main things at the moment, but I mean, they're even attacking geometry at the moment, which is something they're not supposed to be attacking.
When they say they,
Sorry?
the mainstream or
Pacific
our fellow flat earthers.
Our fellow flat earthers are attacking things like horizon being optical and geometric horizons, saying the black swan is redundant.
Yep, I've heard that too.
Back on the
When you
second
want-
back on the second grade playground, right? Remember the analogy I told you earlier? Yes,
It's not
sir.
hard to tell when you line up with somebody who you're with. They're lining up with ballers right now. They're sweeping with the enemy.
Did you say sweeping with the enemy?
They're sweeping with the enemy.
So, flat earthers, what are you going to do?
I told you what I want to do, but I was told to calm down.
Well, all I think we can really do is just expose their numptiness and correct them.
I really think it's all about the information. It's about what you can prove. You just don't get to say anything you want and then just go off of that.
But they don't want that. They want to be able
That's
to
what
say whatever they
content
want.
providers and those with big mouths like mine can do. That's what it is, isn't it? Which is, I think, what we're doing. I think QE's question is addressed to the wider audience.
But Adam,
Well,
that's what I was saying. When I didn't want to line up, when that whole thing was transpiring on Thursday, I was totally against it because I feel we don't have to line up or teach them shit they don't want to learn. We just do what we've been doing, what I had the privilege of coming into on these channels, and just continue marching forward. Let them talk all the nonsense they want. Fine. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I think we should try and get to a place where the people can stop trying to think they are the flat earth boss kind of thing, you know? Like, everybody else must just do what I say kind of thing, because I've seen that a lot. You get the people that think they can, especially now since Bob's gone, it's like they're trying to class for like top spot or something. It's like somehow everybody is going to have a flat earth leader for some odd reason, and I think that's a mentality that should stop. Nobody
Yeah,
has
but how do
any
you
flat earth
defend that?
leaders.
How do you beat
but-
that? By staying
but a
with the
lot-
truth.
Yeah, but a lot of it's now they're not talking about proving and measuring the geometric Earth. They're talking about scientific method and other things. So we're either talking about the shape of the Earth or we're talking about phenomena.
But scientific evidence proves against the globe. So I think that's a very strong argument to have, because if people understand the scientific method, they're going to see right through the pseudoscience bullshit of the globe.
Well, I'd sort of say the lack of scientific evidence going through the scientific method has no endurance on the globe. For instance, gravity.
Yeah, because I mean, even like last night, I was having a chat with Mr. Sensible, and he thinks an IV can be observing something. So if you look at something or don't look at it, that causes something to happen. That is how idiotic the arguments we get from the globe side. So it's really, really weird how we have to actually talk to grown-ass people that think time can be an independent variable, or just observing something means it's science.
I mean, I did ask. I think I've asked on Nathan's show before, because I was talking to Nathan once about the scientific method, and I'm still not fucking brilliant on everything. Like, I'm still learning. But I was saying, like, how many things has there been on the scientific method? I mean, we can talk about the heat and the water. I've heard the vitamin C situation, but can we get documents out and say this was proved by the scientific method? Now, I've thought about this myself, and the only reason I'm bringing it up is it was something, and I'm not sticking up for anyone or agreeing with anyone, Witsit brings up today. And I thought, well, I've asked that question myself. How many examples can we bring up about the scientific method proving things and go through the documentation? And the
Okay. The whole of thermodynamics, based on scientific method.
Negative.
Everything
Negative.
That's
technology.
That's natural.
Negative.
The thermodynamics.
Negative. Negative.
No.
Negative. Stop.
Why are you not letting me talk?
Stop. Stop.
Let me talk.
No.
The thermodynamic principle is based upon the scientific method of
It is
understanding
not.
heat transference.
It is
It's
not.
a natural law. It's natural law.
Yes, it's natural law, but the principle is based on understanding the method.
Negative.
The process
It
of
is
heat
not.
transfer.
Flatsoid, step away from the mic, please. It
Okay,
is
I'm
not.
going to. Can I rebut you on that, Quantum?
No, it is not. Second law of
But can I rebut you?
There's no
Can I rebut you on-
rebuttal. Flatsoid.
There is a rebuttal, because I don't agree with you.
Flatsoid. The second law of thermodynamics is a natural law. The only way you can rebut it is to give me an experiment that shows the cause of entropy. Can you do that?
No, I'm saying the principles of heat transference can be done using the scientific method.
No, I'm talking entropy. Second law of thermodynamics is all about.
I didn't say second law. I said thermodynamics, heat transfer. There's more than one thermodynamic law.
Yeah, I'm quite well aware of that, Flatsoid. In fact, there's 4 of them, and they're all natural laws.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, they're
But
natural laws.
You can still use the processes in the scientific methods.
Do it. First law of
Heat conver-
thermodynamics. Matter cannot be
Conservation of
created. Relax. The first law of thermodynamics. State it, and then give me the hypothesis. If you want to
Okay,
go
first of
down
all,
this, if you want to go down this road, it's going to be a painful road. But go on.
Conservation of energy. No matter can be created nor destroyed. It can only be transferred or transformed. Correct?
Say it one more
First law.
time.
Conservation of energy. Matter cannot be created or destroyed, only transferred or transformed.
Matter or energy. You said conservation of energy and then just spoke to matter.
Matter, yeah.
Okay, that's a minor point, but important one. Go on.
Okay, let's see. Heat energy. I'm just trying to think of a hypothesis quickly. How about a combustion engine? How does a combustion engine work? We can take it off of
Combustion
Not a
engine.
natural
Hold on,
phenomena,
hold
not
on,
a
hold
natural-
on. He's talking to me. Is a combustion engine a natural phenomena?
No, but the combustion engine works off of observing natural phenomena.
Like what?
Heat energy causing things to move. Combustion.
Heat energy causing things to move. Combustion.
Yeah, heat energy causes combustion. Heat energy, let's say flame towards gas that expands.
Conservation of matter energy. Matter or energy cannot be created or destroyed.
Exactly.
Exactly. So you're going to have to show the cause of heat energy not being created or destroyed, Flatzoid.
Okay. Flame by gas explosion. There we go. Energy
Flame.
transferred.
What's your hypothesis? Identify the independent variable and the dependent variable.
Heat energy causes combustion.
Heat energy is the observed natural phenomena.
No, combustion is observed natural phenomena.
Here we go back.
Heat energy is the cause. Heat energy causes combustion.
Combustion where?
You said in nature, so if I have a gas that's flammable and I put heat energy to it, flame, it combusts, it explodes.
But what does that have
so
to...
you have energy. So you have energy.
What?
So if you stick that, so you can use that principle and you can stick it in a cylinder, and that combustion causes the piston to move, which in the tail transfers the energy to the crankshaft.
Stop. Oh, geez.
We added a point of agreement there. Okay. We've used our understanding of natural law to get to a scientific hypothesis. It took a while. The pair of you got there.
Yeah, I agree. But that's what I'm saying. My point is, you can use it.
There was a level of disconnect. There was a level of disconnect at the start. I hope the way in which that battled out was nice, because you then got that balance, that understanding from natural law that gets you to something that you could take to experiment.
Yeah, that's the point.
So, given that, Flatzoid, we've used natural law, we can then go and prove the cause of something now, can't we? Something that we know is always happens, i.e. in natural law. We already knew that. Using those certainties, we've now got something that we can get definitive yes or no from through experiment, yeah?
Yeah, exactly.
Science proves things from that. And we take and I think that was the point, I don't know what it was. The point I got from that was that we use knowledge, yeah, and experience to give us some certainty. But that's subject to bias. Make sure if we want to, have an understanding of cause and effect, we use the scientific method. It's there for us.
Yeah, I mean, if we didn't know the cause of something, then you're not going to be able to work off of that cause to further the progress. That's what I said. Just like heat causes water to boil, it's always going to be a true statement, but you can now go and create further progress by knowing the principles of that to now, let's say, make a boiler heater or something. That's my whole point. Like, we can make combustion engines can come from the scientific method, because we saw in observing nature, combustion comes from heat energy. So it's work. That's all. That was my point. So
right, but that's asked about face though, because you're not using scientific principles to come to the laws of thermodynamics. You're using the laws of thermodynamics to come to scientific experiment. That's not the same as what you said before.
No, no.
That's not
'cause
true.
they're
That's
not.
not true.
No, because that's what I gave it.
Yeah.
I won't rendition it myself, but the cause and effect I thought was quite narrow. That's why I thought there was a point of it. What you do after that, with engines and stuff, is technology, because the science is, like I said, quite narrow, and we're going to use that. A bit like the boiling of water. If we vary the actual atmospheric pressure, then that might have a change on the temperature that it boils at. We can use all of those scientifically defined things to construct some technology with all that knowledge in mind, like taking the bit, expanding the volume, and then igniting it. What difference does that make? Yeah, we could science some of that, I suppose. Yeah, for the purpose of technology, and all of that is the technology bit, not the science.
Yeah, but that's
It's
what I'm
making
saying.
that distinction. It's important.
Yeah, the technology only builds off of the scientific progress of the principles. That's all.
All the cool shit is the technology. Yeah.
Can I ask a question to Flatside? There's not an attack. There's just a question. Could you give me an example where we observe combustion in nature?
Yes. You have a flammable gas, and it comes into contact with fire, and it has an explosion. So you have combustion.
So that's all right. So that's the second. Hold on. That's the second law of thermodynamics. You're talking about heat transfer. That was my whole point. You shifted from the first law of thermodynamics to the second law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics states energy and matter cannot be created or destroyed. It can merely change form. That has nothing to do with the first law of thermodynamics.
So when gas expands due to the transference of heat because of explosion, that's not transferring of energy.
The transferring of energy is what the second law.
Conservation of energy, transforming or
no, that's not the conservation. No, you're off topic. You're now in the second law.
The second law is use energy to work, but the first law is the transference of the energy.
No, it's not. Would state the first law again.
According to the first law, energy and matter conserve energy. It cannot be created or destroyed, only transformed or transferred.
It can only change form. So we're into energy and matter cannot be created or destroyed. You going to do anything with that statement?
Yeah.
What?
The gas is
what gas?
Flammable. Flammable gas. I'm just saying any flammable gas you use, if it comes into contact with flames, it expands. Okay, that's the second law. But first law, it transformed into a heat source. It's transformed into flame. You would agree. What happens to gas when it comes into contact with fire? It
entropy.
Explodes.
Yep, the entropy is increased, right?
Yeah, obviously based on the second law.
Yeah, that was my point.
But on the first law, the energy has transformed.
Where'd you get the energy from?
The flames.
Where'd the flames come from?
Heat. Thermal heat.
Where'd the heat come from? The flames, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's going in a circle because it's a natural law. That was my point. It's not a big deal. Maybe we can deal with it offline. Okay?
Shot. No, but I just thought I was trying to make a point. I hope you got it. That's what I'm saying.
I definitely got it, and we'll deal with it offline. Go ahead, Brian. You wanted to say something?
I know I was going to ask another question on that, but I let it go. As you said, you'll deal with it offline, so I'm not going to.
Okay.
Carry it on. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep.
Hey, QE, I got to take some pictures of my son's science book. He's in 6th grade, and it's got yeah, it's talking about everything that you talk about, you know, or you've been pointing out, and most people's forgotten, I guess. But yeah, that's if they're looking for citations, it's like asking somebody for a citation of 1 + 1 = 2, kind of.
Yeah, it's difficult.
These are
Go ahead.
yeah, because these are fundamentals. They're fundamentals. You learned them early on in life, and just because you weren't paying attention doesn't mean they weren't taught to you. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it was difficult coming up with the citations, but remember, you don't only need citation, you need demonstration with them, because every citation, it just depends on where they come from. And so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you get the citation from. I mean, it's important if you want to support your argument, but then it has to be demonstrated. Follow?
yeah. Well, right now they're going over qualitative versus quantitative, and they make a distinction between the two.
Who
And I
are
thought
they?
that was the 6th grade science book. It's making a distinction between qualitative and quantitative.
Of course.
And yeah, and how you're trying to figure out the cause, not the amount.
Yes.
And I was like, oh my God, QE would love. I got to get a picture of it though. It's like 2 or 3 pages, but it's like you learned this in 6th grade, and we're getting challenged on it now.
That happens.
Well, according to Mick Toons, he's not going to go into grammar school science.
Just to let you
dealing with the fundamentals.
Yeah, just to let you know, if you go into a university, if you go above high school, and you're undergrad, any type of grad, they will not teach you the scientific method. I have never heard a single professor discuss the scientific method in any of my courses. Why is that?
You're supposed to learn it in 6th grade.
I know what. Yeah, you learn it before you get into university. That's why.
Exactly. Yeah.
You're supposed to know that shit, right?
Yeah, you'd think so.
Well, you know what? You'll never find a math professor that'll tell you that 1 + 1 = 2 is a citation either. Doesn't mean it's not true,
That might be in contention soon.
Oh, is that why we always get explaining when we say horizontals don't curve, and they say bring me a citation?
Yeah, exactly, because you're gonna get horizontal curves in citation. I will guarantee you that. So what are you gonna do after that?
Yeah, you have to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
But this nonsense about how something is 2nd grade science, that's equivalent to stating that if you burn your hand off a cooker when you're 5 years of age, that there's no guarantee that when you're 30 that you're going to burn your hand off a cooker if you do the same thing at the same temperature. And this, you know what I mean? It's totally stupid. Like, if something is true, it's true when you're 5, and it's true if you're 105. It's true, either it's true or it's not true. There's no truth for a while and then some different truth. That's not truth.
Either it burns or it don't burn, Brian.
Well, if it burns you at 5 years of age, it's going to burn you at 35. You know what I mean? Well, it's stupid. You know what I mean? It's such a pathetic argument against the scientific method. That's 2nd grade. Yeah, it's because it's true.
It's like
true.
Hold on. It's like Q said yesterday. QE said, it's not right or wrong. It's either it is or it ain't.
But you got it wrong, Brian. You got it wrong, Brian. When you're 5 years old, you're more susceptible to get burns than when you're 9 years old. Didn't you know that?
Listen, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like they're all lining up against us. Shooting. Arrows are coming from every angle.
Now, this all started because I used to compromise the ballers and say, you would fail 5th grade general science. So that, in their feeble minds, led them to state quite profusely that, well, that's only grade school science. There's another science once you get more educated. In that vein. Follow?
No, I get that. I'm saying this whole thing in general, everything that's going on, just seems like there's an attack on every angle. Everybody's lining up, taking it.
Yeah, that sounds like you're waxing philosophical. I deal with specificity. Get specific.
Wichit's taking his shots. Jiren's taking his shots. Globus is shaking his shots. Weiss is shaking his shots. Anybody else I need to mention? They're lining up with ballers. I didn't know I would have to wake you up
Dell?
about
How about Dell? And Dell's in chat.
Dell, your bromance is taking shots.
My bromance is taking shots.
Weiss is chill. Weiss is cool. What did Weiss do?
Before we go down personality street,
yeah,
I heard a qualitative, quantitative.
Oh yeah, that was
if your mum told you to go and put a pan on and boil, because you realise it'd be stupid to put it in the oven, just go and put a pan on the hob and boil some water for me.
Yeah, but that's why I
Let
actually
me
tried to
finish.
I have to check the
I'm
pressure.
talking. I'm talking. I like a dramatic voice.
Adam, let me explain.
Bear with me.
Adam, let me explain something to them first. Flatzoid's perspective. Flatzoid, Adam is very measured and deliberate. Okay, so you're gonna have just relax and let him get there.
I remember that.
I'm sorry. I understand he talks slow. I was a bit jumping the gun. Sorry.
Particularly when I'm being sarcastic. So if my mum would say, go and put the pan on and tell me when it's boiling, what word shall I? What quality would I be looking for in the water to define boiling? It'd be a quantity of something I'd be trying to measure, or because I don't know what height above sea level I am. What would be the quality of the thing I'd be looking for?
Anyone?
Boiling. Yeah.
Everybody
What you observe convection.
Answer the question. What's the what quality in the water would I be looking for?
The
You're looking to observe.
Fire bubbles.
Thank you, Neil.
To observe what they call convection. That's what you're looking to observe. Like if you put even
I'm
a
not
small
asking
bit
for
of
an
heat.
explanation. I'm asking for what
I didn't
quality
want to give you an explanation.
water I would be trying to observe. What would the quality? Just descriptions of the thing that I know. I can go and tell me mum, the water's boiling.
I said it's bubbling.
Boiling would be
How much? 5 bubbles.
So I'm looking for a quantity of bubbles, am I? Is that what means water boils? Water boils equals X bubbles per mil. Is that what we're after?
Can I shout out super chats?
Super chat.
Yep. Two of them. One from Matthew Eastman and another from him with the text, Witsit is in the room, please address the man.
Negative.
You heard it. Negative. Don't be so negative.
I think we're addressing important points with regards to things that are thrown at us on this side. Yeah, quantitative, qualitative. I'm asking questions now. They're pointing to be able to answer.
Yeah, but Adam, like I wanted to say earlier, why do you think Jaren doesn't understand sticking a pot in an oven will not give the same result of sticking a pot on a stove?
I'm not bothered about that. I'm interested. Yeah. What's the quality we're looking for to describe boiling, or how many bubbles a mil am I looking for to define boiling?
Well, honestly, when you see the beginning of boiling, you see less than what you would see when it's at its most heated point. You'll see a bloop. So
when you get to the water, I think the point of
is that
boiling...
what you say to your mum? Mum, and you call your mum in, right? And you say, Mum, I saw this bloop thing. What would she say? Because the water's not boiling, because we all know what boiling water looks like. What quality of the water are you looking for? Yeah?
When the heat is not going up anymore.
Is there 5% of that thing looking like? Yeah. Is that what you're looking for? Or are you looking for that quality of the water? That's what you're looking for to define an effect. An effect, the effect being water boiling. This is how retarded the argument's been dragged back, yeah? By this level of attacking scientific method. Yeah. We mitigate for what boiling water is. And if it was our mum that asked us when we were a kid, we would tell her exactly when the water's boiling without any fail every time. Yeah. But now here, what are we doing? Trying to be pseudo-intellectual because somebody's an argument that is just nonsense to us and wasting our time.
You mean I'm on the one say check the pressure on that?
It's where I get frustrated, Neil, but I'll bring it back to the point earlier. Look at the quality of content and argument that people present. Look at what we're having to deal with. Are these genuine people? I don't know their motivation, but are they behaving in a genuine manner?
I would say no.
Negative.
Yeah, well, you have to define what boiling is. Boiling is caused by the effect that's described as convection. Now, you're not going to get that same convective effect in the same way in an oven as you will with heat underneath something. That's not how it works. So boiling, just give me just a second. You will evaporate, you will cause steam and stuff in an oven. You will create the heat, so the water will start evaporating and stuff. But you won't cause the boiling because it's not going to be the same type of convection going on, if you understand what I mean. Boiling is described as convection. That's how it's described. So it's a two different. So the statement heat causes water to boil is 100% true because boiling is convection. You're creating convection, whereas in an oven there's heat there, and it will cause evaporation. You will cause steam, but you may not see the rolling boil because you're not causing convection.
Let's make a better example. Let's make a better example, Adam.
Finish on his point though quickly.
Okay.
I'm just gonna say with the pot, the reason the pot won't cause the water to boil inside an oven is because the mechanics behind the pot. That thick bar underneath it has all the conductivity of the heat, so it transfers all the heat to the pot's bottom. So it actually pulls the heat from the water, and therefore it won't get hot enough to boil.
That's a good point. But I was going to say back to Adam's example. Let's say mom or you're at camp at home or whatever, and they say, hey, I need y'all to go boil some water. Like you said, Adam, the child volunteering to do it knows what to do. The first thing they're going to do is either light their pilot, turn on their electric stove, or start a fire. And then they're going to put that pot of water on top of that pilot lit eye or that electrical grill or over top of that fire pit.
Betty. Sorry about that. Hold on, D-Rose. Sorry about that. Betty, would you please go over the super chats?
Yes, I will. I thought I'd let you call it, right? But okay, I will go over. Toby Walker, please unmute which it gets it. I want to know his take. And you said in the chat, I shan't. And Toby Walker again, so you refuse to talk to which it gets it. Not a good luck to attack someone while censoring them. That's the next super chat. And was that it? Yes.
Thank you for your super chats. Somebody asked, why don't you debate Whitsitt? He's right here. What would be the debating topic? Would the first topic be how much of a lion double-speaking sewer rat are you? True or false? You would think that would be the first topic? Answer in chat.
Again, you have to look at behaviour, QA, and I'll start with yours. is it reasonable to accept that Q will just let somebody just roll up in Discord? Somebody that there's clear things that have been agreed or tried to be discussed in the things, just roll up in the middle of their show and take the whole floor. Is that the kind of reasonable thing that I would expect Huey to do? No, he's not my nan, is he? You know what I mean? So there's that, and now you've got this accusation put this way that would be in some way us running from the argument. Now there's plenty of arguments we had. What I'm seeing here, somebody rocking up, trying to disrupt on our tiny weeny little voice, so insignificant. Your big super channels, yeah, and you're rocking up now, wanting to present, and exactly as QE says, present what? What's your argument? Line it up. Give us a time and we'll do it. But don't just come barging in thinking you have some divine right to take over this teeny weeny little channel against your super big channels. Yeah.
Well, I mean, to answer Quantum Eraser's question, he's asking, what did he say here? What's going to be the debate? How much of a lion sewer rat are you, true or false? I mean, I would say, that right there, you kind of have to let Witsit chime in here because you're calling him a liar. So
I'm not just calling him anything. I'm not just. Hold on, Adam. Hold on, Adam. I can answer for myself. I am not just calling him a liar. I already demonstrated it. Follow? Big difference. Have you not heard, Toby?
Besides that, how many times has Witsit anyway had chance to talk and he's totally shown that he doesn't know how to not contradict himself?
I'm waiting for...
Maybe you should play
hold on. I'm waiting for the Witsit Shitsit sympathizer to answer my question.
Oh, sorry. I didn't realize I was unmuted.
Fuck
sorry,
off.
Repeat your question?
Piss off? How about that?
Is that what the bitch said?
Yeah, that's what
his mic wasn't muted because I was watching the entire screen. His shit was wide open.
Have we not heard this before? Let's go ahead. Let's hold on, Neil. Let's go ahead and listen. Yeah. How about that? 1 second, please.
Super chat, by the way.
Go ahead and take the super chats quickly, Betty.
Okay, into the break. Claim, then evidence till exhaustion. No rapping, no monologues, just cowbell. Popcorn emoji.
They don't like that. They don't like that principle. Sir, thanks for the super chat. Go ahead. Any more, Betty?
Not for now.
All right, here we go. Y'all caught up to Quantum Racer Live. I'm presenting now, and the audience is going to hear. Here we go. This is the demonstration there, Toby. Mr. My unmuted. I didn't realize I was unmuted, okay? You shits at 60 simp. Here we go. So, we have the respawn remedial retard, double speaking lion sewer rat, shits at 60, guns a-blazing, out of the gate ether argument from FED episode 1702 from 8 months ago.
Where we have electromagnetic waves that we can show, and either it has a medium that it's waving through, or it's waving through nothing, which is an asinine claim.
So we have electromagnetic waves, which this moron thinks is light, waving through a something medium because they can't wave through nothing. Therefore, his something medium is ether. Then he gets a bit more specific.
Basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right? But you have all kinds of electromagnetic fluctuations that you can measure and detect within that. And so it's like, what's the energy traveling through?
Now we have a vacuum chamber, the ones we trip over when we walk around in nature, with electromagnetic fluctuations in it, which this idiot considers light. And his question proof for his retard ether is, what's the energy traveling through. Let me say that again. His question proof for his retard ether is what's the energy traveling through? You got that? Some more light traveling to support his idiot ether claim so there's no mistake.
Okay, well, that's why relativity was created.
Sorry, are you
to try
telling
to
me you're
explain
going
away the
around
results
peddling
of
this crap to this community based on a fucking parlor trick?
it. No, it's based on antecedent relationship. Like,
Sorry,
it's just a
what was the
logical
phenomena
framework.
studied
Like,
in this highly scientific parlor trick? What was the phenomena studied?
the difference in travel of light. The difference in travel of light. The difference in travel of light.
So it's clear. The support for his asinine ether claim is the travel of light. 10 days later.
No, you're presupposing that light's traveling from point A to point B.
I'm not.
Yeah. So we got this fork-tongued, double-speaking clown carry on for nearly 2 hours about his question-proof, substanceless medium ether horse shit, with his shining example, the travel of light, then has the mind-numbing Dunning-Kruger audacity for his encore performance 10 days later to charge his opponent for presupposing what? The travel of light.
No, you're presupposing that light's traveling from point A to point B.
I'm not.
So let's head back to Shits at 60s, Guns a-Blazing out of the gate ether argument from FED episode 1702.
Where we have electromagnetic waves that we can show, and either it has a medium that it's waving through, or it's waving through nothing, which is an asinine claim.
So we have electromagnetic waves, which this moron thinks is light, waving through a something medium because they can't wave through nothing. Therefore, his something medium is ether. Then he gets a bit more specific.
Basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right? But you have all kinds of electromagnetic fluctuations that you can measure and detect within that. And so it's like, what's the energy traveling through?
So we got the full story. We have electromagnetic waves in a vacuum, and the question proof is what's the energy traveling through? And is confirmed again here.
What does the electromagnetic wave propagate within?
Let's pinpoint exactly what these electromagnetic waves are.
I can shoot a laser through a vacuum chamber, and it
Why
gets
would
to
you
the
do
other
that?
side.
So shooting a laser through a vacuum chamber means he's shooting light. Therefore, the electromagnetic waves he's speaking to is light. 10 days later.
So I never claimed that light is a wave.
What does the electromagnetic wave propagate within? I can shoot a laser through a vacuum chamber, and it
Why
gets
would
to
you
the
do
other
that?
side.
So I never claimed that light is a wave.
So what's left after lying and double speaking for nearly 4 hours? Folks, I have over 8 hours of videos on my channel assessing every single doublespeak, logical fallacy, outright lie, and made up on the spot contradicting piece of horse shit spewed from the despicable dipshit Shits at 60. So again, what's left? Yep, you guessed it. The only port in the storm. This schmuck outright denies the very argument that he made for his fuckwit ether. 4 days ago, 24/7, Flat Earth Discord.
My position is not light goes through a vacuum, thus it must have a medium in it because light needs a medium to travel through. That is not what, no. Okay, I never.
What the hell did you just say?
My position is not light goes through a vacuum, thus it must have a medium in it because light needs a medium to travel through. That is not what, no. Okay. I never, well, we have electromagnetic waves that we can show, and either it has a medium that it's waving through or it's waving through nothing, which is an asinine claim. My position is not light goes through a vacuum, thus it must have a medium in it because light needs a medium to travel through. That is not what, no. Okay. I never, basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right? But you have all kinds of electromagnetic fluctuations that you can measure and detect within that. And so it's like, what's the energy traveling through?
The prosecution rests for now. Flat earthers, what are you gonna do? So, Toby, is it? My question still stands. What would you like the debate to be about? Perhaps, how much of a double-speaking lion sewer rat are you, true or false? Oh, shit, he left. Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah, he left. He ran right away.
Yep. He went back to wash with his feet and say, "Don't worry about it, master. We shall find another way to defeat
He called
them."
you a bitch and then he left.
That's why his name is Toby, not Kunta Kinte. It's Toby.
Well, just you know, to defend QE a little bit here, he's actually paying Whitsitt a compliment because he's either a liar or a retard, and QE went with liar. So that's, I think
that's a
that's
compliment.
paying him a compliment.
I could be a retarded liar.
How could
Yeah,
we?
true.
How could we move on past that? Anyone? Or should we discuss the difference between nouns and verbs? Which one should we start with?
Oh, do the nouns and verbs thing you got on them.
No.
With the wave,
Wave
please.
is an adjective.
Thanks, Neil.
Well, no, wave is a pronoun.
It would be good. It would be good to hear what Toby had to say about that, but he went off because he's fighting the corner for Whitsitt, so he should have stayed around, listened to that, and given his honest opinion. Otherwise, he's not really. Otherwise, he's not fighting an honest corner. Otherwise, he's not fighting an honest corner. Otherwise, he's not fighting an honest corner.
Correct. So, flat earthers, what are you gonna do? That's rhetorical.
Toby's back. He says he's muted.
He's not muted.
Hey,
Get his ass
Refractor.
on here.
Hold on.
Hey, Refractor.
Neil, relax. Toby.
Yo, I was muted earlier too. You lied and said I wasn't.
Now you're fuck off. You're done.
Now you are.
Now you're muted for sure.
Low life sewer rat liars.
Yep.
Hey, Refractive, didn't that clip that QE played of him kind of sound like unicornity? What is it? Unicornifying? Whatever. What is the thing you say when somebody argues unicorns and then they back up and say, "I didn't mean unicorn. I meant a zebra with a horn in his face," or something like that. How did you say it? Like they had a double target. I didn't mean a unicorn, but I meant a zebra with a horn coming out of his forehead.
Unicornity.
Unicornity.
You may continue on the discussion.
What Toby doesn't understand is you can see when you look at the Discord server, you can see the mics with the slash through it and the ones that are wide open. And I mean, that right there is illustrative that nobody's muted. except for the ones who have the lines through the microphone icon.
Don't worry about it.
It's,
Don't worry
yeah.
about it, Original D Rose. I said you can move on with the conversation. We can move on past Toby. It's been demonstrated.
All right, what's next?
I want to hear the clip that he said wave is an adverb or a verb or something like that. Like in
No.
the stadium, when everybody does the stadium wave.
No,
Okay.
that's okay. We'll leave it right now with the double-speaking lion Surat. We'll just leave that there. Okay?
Is Eli there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I think if you listen to that clip, kept looking up thinking, does Eli wanting to say something? You can hear it. And I talked about earlier about people that have played roles in terms of bothering to engage. Past the level when I gave up the emissary role, but it's just hang out there with a guy that was his friend, yeah? And that's what people forget in a lot of these things. There are actual real relationships. Yeah? No different to if me and Eli crossed, our paths diverged from this point, yeah? The same what happened. Have you heard the shit rap they did, all of them? You know what I mean? Yeah? We were friends, and there is reasons you bother to mitigate for people. And you hear in those sound bites, to me, Eli's voice. I hope I'm right after that rant. I'd say about it, what are you going to do for others? Because there's somebody that knows all these people and has now said, enough's enough.
Yeah, I mean, but when he says QE continues to lie and misrepresent what he said, I mean, it just makes things worse. Like, that's why when he said that, I'm like, no, you're a liar. Like, I mean, I
So let
know
me
that,
ask the question. Eli, why doesn't he come here? He knows there's a BALLBUSTERS. Why don't he come here? If he's so big and bad and QE's a liar, why doesn't his ass get over here right now?
he is, Neil. The man's not letting him speak. Doesn't want him to speak. It's his server.
Oh, I didn't know that. He's in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, my God, Neil.
I came late. I'm sorry.
So, yeah, I mean, I got ears to hear and a brain to understand. So when I hear those clips, it's like, and he says, well, I've been taken out of context and they've been clipped out. I'm like, why would a man that gave the citations to the entire video for anybody to watch at their discretion be like it? How far are you willing to go? They've not been clipped out. I mean, yes, he's made clips, but he's it was a few weeks ago, Hank he was worried that it might be clipped and it might be out of context. So he's like, well, listen to the whole damn thing. Here's the episodes. What are you gonna do after that? What can you do?
It's much worse. It's much worse if you listen to the whole videos. Besides that feeble appeal, the feeble appeal of, it's clipped. Now, you heard what he fucking said. Stop playing dumb. Most people aren't playing, though. So,
If I may for the record, I'm reading these threads, and everybody seems to be surprised of my Kunta Kinte Toby joke. If you know the truth, Alex Haley's book was a plagiarized piece of shit fictitious story. Toby never existed, nor did Kunta Kinte. Therefore, just because I'm considered African American or whatever you want to tag me as, I do see the comedy in that because I know the knowledge of the fallaciousness of that whole story. Okay, so don't get sensitive.
Hey, it's Kunta Kinte. How you doing, Kunta Kinte? That's the important.
I'm tired of the outrage. It's for me. Get out of here. Knock it off.
What I tried to pull it back to is, I think your reaction's important, mate, and about deciding, are you going to carry on justifying this, entertaining it, or move forwards? And there was a comment from somebody.
Did you miss the conversation earlier?
I wanted to just try and move it forward with a little. It's about D-Rose saying how smooth was that transition, and it was going to be smooth. It was about recognizing what's been said there. Yeah. There's boundaries, there's lines, and somebody said in Nathan's chat, I think it was with the super chat, about it's uncomfortable sitting on the fence, and I bet it is. I know it was, yeah. But there's a point. What are you going to do, flat earthers? There's a line that's clearly been drawn. Either the scientific method means something. Here's the line, yeah, or it doesn't. Go to the other side. Don't hang about on it in any pain. You know what I mean? But make your choice and move forward. And that's what I was alluding to you. There's a level of friendship that means sometimes you hang about. I'm guilty of it myself, you know, in many ways. There comes a point where
somebody warned me.
Well,
there comes a point where you just move forwards, is all I'm saying. And that's what.
A couple of days ago, we had sort of like a tepid, kind of lukewarm back and forth. But yeah, this morning I wasn't in FED because I was having a full blown row or row, however you guys say, with him in 24/7. Like it was full blown at that point. I actually want to. I hope Nathan will do a review on it.
More than likely, it'll be edited for content. Good luck finding that, unless you've already got it.
Yes. What do you mean? It's easy. The live stream has the little ticker, so if you know what time you were in there, and it's easy to find. I was in there like what, 8:30, 9 o'clock today.
I think what refracted curvature is speaking to is there's been an occasion or two that those episodes have disappeared. Remember, Elijah?
Oh, yeah. We'll see.
Okay.
That would be crazy because it wouldn't be coincidence at this point.
Second time it happens, it's no longer coincidence. It'd be the third time. It'd be indictable.
Yeah. We got a few new people. I'm just scrolling down the list. I was looking on the people that are in here. Rose Patton, do I know you? That name sounds very familiar to me.
Could be. I was on Hangouts and YouTube starting way back in 2013.
Yeah, that's
talking about flat Earth.
Yep. Nice to have you.
Oh, thank you.
You're
Glad
welcome.
I found you guys. Yeah.
Hey, Huey, the distinguishing what is it, description and what's the other word they mix up? Description and explanation.
Yes.
Is that
who are they?
I was wondering if those, I mean, anyone. Well, I forget who it was, but you had to explain that to somebody on here on a couple of QE lives back, and they were talking about describing and explaining are the same thing, and you had to correct them on that. I forgot who it was. It might have been JC. I don't know. Anyway, what about viscosity and rigidity?
I don't know. Just right out of the blue. I don't know. What do you want me to speak to with viscosity and rigidity?
And solidification, making it solid.
Oh God, now I know why solidification. Why don't you solidify the solidification for us, please? Now we're gonna circle the drain with this. Back to bros. I don't know. Maybe you might be a little shy or something, but like I said, I've seen you from way back in the day. What's your overall thoughts on the state of, not the community, I would say just the state of flat Earth? Do you have any take on that? I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, but since you've been out here, a pretty long time, you might have taken a break, so this might be an unfair question.
Well, I'm new to Discord. I've been on here only about a year now, and I just think that it's already been proven. Like, there's nothing else really to do at this point. I mean, debating Glover's fine, but like, we've already proved our point a long time ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah,
What I was fishing for was we have some, as I characterize them, pretender clown flat earthers in our midst. Have you been exposed to that? Have you experienced that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's weird. What is that about? I don't even get it. Why? Like, they'll pretend or they'll switch from side to side when it's convenient, I guess for social reasons. I don't know. Yeah, I have noticed that.
Okay, that's all I wanted.
Is that new? Like, what is that about?
No, it's not a new thing. I identified it some years ago, where a gentleman on my staff here, the Adam Meakin, I was on his show some years ago. I think it was about 5 or 6 years ago, whatever, where I stated that the biggest threat to flat Earth are pretender clown flat earthers. Now, at the time, it wasn't so overt. It turns out that it looks like I've been quite prophetic.
I just don't see the point of pretending to be a flat earther if you're not. I mean, either you are or you're not. I don't think this is a game, Like, this is about getting the truth out there about where we live. I take it very seriously.
I like that response.
It was a good response.
His appeal to platitudes. Did you hear that? Shocker.
Now,
Yeah,
I didn't want any deification or anything. I was thinking that after I made the statement. I said, "Oh, that might sound bad." I'm not saying that. But
no,
go ahead.
I remember the time, and yeah,
Well, Brian did call you Jesus.
the response I had from, is it Rose? Yeah, that's the correct response. Don't give a shit, and that's the best of all of this nonsense that's going off in this small little community arguing. That's the best response I can hear. Yeah, don't give a shit. I'm here for the truth. Carry on moaning like that, you lot, and focus on it, and I'll stop listening to this side, because that's not why I turned up here. Is what I hope to hear, and where we should move to. Not that I don't expect a good another week's worth of bitching.
I think a lot of what's going on right now is simply the result of idle minds. I mean, I think a lot of people are very uncomfortable in accepting that there's some things that are unknowable to a degree. I see this a lot in the alternative history community, and it kind of parallels what's going on here. You end up with professional dot connectors because they've already ascertained, the main premise, the Earth is flat, and then they want to proceed from there.
There's a point when I refer to when QE reiterated the scientific method, and I say reiterated, not taught, and that's why it's not taught at uni, because you already know it. Sometimes you kind of ignore it moving forwards about what gives scientific proof. That's what seems to be forgotten, I think.
certainly. They want to decorate their dining room instead of building the foundation of the house. And then they take it a step further and want to deny that foundations even exist.
Make sure when you say they, I'm not just talking to Banta. A lot of us do it, and we get in the bad habit of doing it. It's best to identify who exactly you're speaking about and very specifically what their claim is. Just a helpful hint.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I complain about that a lot. And I always try to avoid it when I'm writing, but I fell crap into it right there.
I do it and I catch myself. So I guess I'm preaching to myself also. But it's good for the audience to know exactly. It gets frustrating to listen to people say they, and they do this and they do that, and who are they and what are they exactly doing? That would be helpful. Not that you just did it, but I felt it a good time to bring it up.
Does that go for when we're speaking in reference to globers? No more saying they? Because that's going to be a hard habit to break out of.
Yeah, just state who you're speaking to or the group of this people that you're speaking to. It's helpful for the audience members, especially any new members out there, to identify exactly who you're talking about and what the claim is specifically. Unless you're waxing philosophical and stuff, you should probably keep that stuff close to the vest and be concise with it. Just a friendly bit of advice.
Right. And to be clear, I was specifically talking about the Etherites in my little diatribe.
Did you say Etherites?
Or whatever you'd like to call them. The Ether proponents,
what?
Ether fanboys.
What's Ether?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them.
I mentioned this before. Wait, long time before, probably back when y'all just started, early 2014, 15. I wouldn't say I was an etherite, but I was quite intrigued of the ether was considered a topic that waved across, is still being discussed now, but thanks to, FED, pseudoscience versus science, and, it's starting to be revealed as being another, nonsensical, conceptual, philosophical rhetoric and not anything proven scientifically or connected to nature's laws and everything. But it was quite intriguing because, and I'm pretty sure Elijah and Chocolate can attest to this too, and anybody else from the United States who watches YouTube and watches TikTok, that they even connected it to as far as being that the original people, because of the ether, and they made it they put in a diaspora of ethnicity and the biological makeup mixed with the 666 neutron, proton, electrons, the whole thing. And if Chocolate and Elijah doesn't know what I'm talking about, then that means I have been really down the rabbit hole. But this has been something purported strongly in the general audience out there. And besides Witsit and Jaren, there will be a lot of people out there who are like pretty much either, detest us or are pretty much thinking that we really don't know what we're talking about, because ether is a very strong concept. I'll say a concept and a belief out there in the mainstream. And the demographic, the major demographic are people so-called that you would say are melanated, people of melanin, dark skin, because they try to say that we came from space, and then there's other stories about these aliens that they're reporting that are coming down, and this old man saying yes, and they were 7 foot tall, black people.
Boy.
So I'm serious. This is how deep it is, bro. And this is what I'm saying. Where I come from on here, that's why I can connect to what you're saying, because I was like this. You know what I'm saying? But it was still very intriguing, and it kind of prideful too. You know what I'm saying? And that's how they lure you in. That's the spell. See, that's the spell. Now I'm saying this is what Witsit puts inside of his dissertation about ether. But it's a big thing out there, man. It's a big thing. There's a lot of etherites, not just in flat Earth, but out there in the world.
It's interesting where you placed that.
What is ether?
Oh, no, forget that. Listen to where D-Rose placed it. In the spiritual, in the supernatural. It's science. Yeah? The purview of the supernatural.
Right. And I mean, I think there are many definitions for what ether's supposed to be. A lot of what ends up being talked about is referring to an unseen medium that acts as the background for everything. But again, that isn't just the sole definition of ether, and historically that's not what the concept was at all. But that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, that's the basic fundamental pseudoscientific definition of the ether. But it goes beyond
what?
just that. It goes beyond that. Huh? I said that's the basic fundamental pseudo-scientific definition of the so-called ether, being that medium.
No, I said I heard somebody say background medium. It's something. I'm in the train,
Yeah,
so I'm
that's
not
what
hearing everything.
So yeah, that's what he was saying. He was saying that's what that's what the argument is now for people like Woodson. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's also interchangeable with like the 0-point energy concept. I mean, it's all just basically when there's nothing there, there's actually something. Is the
Now that's what I'm hearing now from those people is apologetics. Listen to what QE has been silent since what he said, which was, "What's ether?" And you give pseudo apologetics for what you think they think that ether means. All this time, we're still waiting for the definition of ether. Yeah. Now, until we get one from these people that profess ether does this, that, or the other, it's really not a point to move forward with. Yeah, if we're going to be honest with each other. Until the people that profess this thing does this thing can at least demonstrate or on a fundamental level describe it, what are we dealing with other than modern science fiction? Yeah? And on that, I think there's a super chat, Betty.
I know. I was waiting for a chance.
I gave it you, didn't I? I just made it.
Yes,
Just
you
like
did. Yes, you did. And I'm thanking you, Adam. Thanks so much. James Mays. Support this channel. Good day to the panel.
James Mays,
Hi, wave Betty. Thank you, James. Waving back.
appreciate it, James. Good to see you, man. I know you've been real busy. Appreciate it, sir. Thank you.
Go on, Adam. You have the mic. As far as you know.
That's copyrighted, by the way.
Too late.
Wait, you're a gem.
Are you finished, Adam? That's what Betty's query, was, in that vein.
What was the technical point of the handover? Trying to be smooth as silk like D.
Hold on a second. Hold on. QE.
Wow.
Adam is measured. And what's the other one after?
Deliberate.
I'm a little annoying. But
Did he get it? Deliberate. He's measured and deliberate, Neil, for about the 875th time.
Ah, shut up. I'm a slow learner.
Yeah, but you have passion.
But yeah, so I just wanted to say I absolutely agree with what Adam said, obviously. I mean, it's very hard to have a conversation if we aren't on the same page with what things mean. And ether is practically like gravity in that regard. It's always a moving target.
Yeah, but at least they can define gravity.
Exactly. Ether's a nothing.
even though it's hogwash. And you said there's many different definitions of one thing. Well, that tells you right away that there's a rooster in the hen house. And the garden is flourishing with well-prepared equivocation fallacies. Yes. Do you know why? Because of the many different definitions. That's what equivocation fallacy is.
Right, absolutely.
Yep.
Like I said, it's hard to hit a moving target. So
Exactly. That means it's a shapeshifter.
And apparently that's what Jaron values as intelligence, based on his previous conversation. But I guess with the silence, something else I was thinking of, I wouldn't mind going back to the qualitative versus quantitative discussion in terms of scurvy, because last night in QE's chat, I even encountered a couple people in there that still weren't seeming to get it. I mean, again, I think that most of us can agree that scurvy is quite literally vitamin C deficiency. And of course, the way that they would try to argue around this, it'd be like, well, my vitamin C level doesn't require extra vitamin C, things of that nature, not understanding that even though every body may have a different point where a deficiency manifests, it doesn't change the fact that that deficiency causes the phenomenon. And I think I eventually explained it fairly well, but I was surprised that there was still confusion on this point, because it is supposed to be a pretty simple, obvious example.
Put them all in a cell and take vitamin C away from them, and let's see how they fare after 2 months.
Right, but again, that's it, Neil. There might be a freak person that basically can maintain their vitamin C level without any intervention. But
Okay, so let's
in
say-
that case, they aren't deficient.
Well, what's it first?
No, maybe there's a less painful
Exactly, that's what I was going
way
to say. In
of
that case, they're not
demonstrating this.
deficient.
Yeah. Maybe instead of depriving them of that, we could just give them a stove and a pan of water, put it on, and ask them to either demonstrate water boiling or show me 15 boiling water.
Adam, a lot of people are not going to get your sarcasm.
Well, until you do, then you don't grasp what Jaron's clearly not been able to grasp yet. Respectfully, if you're bringing up qualitative and quantitative.
I don't know, Bane, did you want somebody to explain this, the vitamin C scurvy concept in more depth, or did you say you thought you knew it, you explained it, and they still didn't get it?
Yeah, it's more the latter. I think that I kind of like the scurvy example better than the boiling water example, as illustrated by kind of what you guys were talking about earlier, where then Brian has to get into, well, the water boils because of convection, things of that nature. Whereas I feel like the scurvy example does take into account the fact that obviously different quantities of vitamin C, it varies per person. And so I think it's kind of simple to explain in that. Go ahead, Adam.
Well, that's really okay. Just with that point, so the outcome is scurvy or not scurvy. The quantitative aspect you're talking about here is how much vitamin C, how much heat should I put in to boil the water? Is that what we're asking? Yeah. What's the outcome? Can I have 15 scurvies? Can I have 2 scurvy?
What?
Has that guy got double scurvy?
Right. Well, in this instance,
is the outcome a description that you can quantify, qualify?
Go ahead, Brian.
No, don't need Brian.
Don't need Brian.
It's can I
Thanks, Alex.
can I have 5 scurvy or just scurvy? 3 scurvy. Let's not get silly.
Right.
Those stupid
Exactly.
numbers, like throwing 5 in. Can I have 2.5 scurvy?
Well, I think they were appealing to the amount of independent variable there, Adam, not the amount of dependent variable.
That's why I said let's stop mixing up what we're proving and what it is, whether it's qualitative or quantitative what we prove, even if we're gonna vary the quantity vary the quantity of things within the experiment to prove in a qualitative sense. Yeah, that seems to be the disconnect I'm hearing here, where I can say, well, if I only put 80 degrees in, water won't boil. Yeah, as if that variation of that bit within the experiment is somehow meaning the outcome is quantitative. Yeah, not. That's what I said earlier. Can I have 3 boils, please? That's boiling at 3. What does that even mean? Yeah, because boiling is a quality, an aspect of it. You've described. It's a definitive point. You already know what it is. Like, oh, he's dead of scurvy. No, you can use all these things, but it's just making that distinction. I'm not hearing people recognise on both sides. I'm being honest.
The point I was trying to make is they only called it scurvy until they realised it was vitamin C deficiency. Scurvy went away then, because everyone knew what was causing the thing. They called it scurvy because they didn't know what it was. When they found out what it was, scurvy went away.
Right.
And what it was a deficiency of vitamin C. So when they found out it's vitamin C, you take vitamin C and it really relieves the scurvy, because it was a deficiency of vitamin C. That's all it was.
1928. It's 1928, Brian. Right?
Yeah.
And you go into the doctor and he says you've got a deficiency of vitamin C, because he's up to date. This motherfucker. He's so up to date. He says you've got a deficiency of vitamin C, and the bloke goes, "What do you mean?" He went, "Oh, you got scurvy." He went, "Oh, thanks, doc. I understand now."
Yeah, because all they could tell him is they have scurvy. You know what I mean? Until they found out it was a vitamin V deficiency. So the word scurvy is a little bit like, what's that, phlogiston? Because it doesn't exist. It's something that doesn't exist. Oh, you have scurvy. Well, you don't. You actually have a vitamin C deficiency that you're calling scurvy because you didn't know someone didn't know what else to call it, scurvy. That's all it is. It doesn't matter how much vitamin C. The point is, it's vitamin C. Same way as it doesn't matter how much heat, any specific amount of heat. The point is, it's heat. You know, vitamin C, you know, is the cure of scurvy. You know, water boils when you add heat. You know, these are just facts. What's the problem? Like, the quantity of it doesn't matter. That doesn't change the fact at all in any way. The only way we wouldn't know why water boils, and we might think we know, but we wouldn't be able to test it, would be if fire didn't exist. You know, but once we could get fire, which is created, even if we couldn't create it, it's created by the sun. You know, with dry brush. You know, forest fires. If fire didn't exist, then we wouldn't know. It's true, isn't it? But fire does exist, so that's not a problem.
Right,
exactly. It's just like I said earlier. Dehydration is resolved by giving somebody water. It doesn't matter. You could do the test and give somebody a little drip of water off your fingertip, out the canteen, out the sink dripping, or you can give them a bottle of water. At the end of the day, water is what resolves dehydration. So a big fat 300-something pound person with scurvy might need a little bit more of a citrus fruit to get that vitamin C to help him out, or vice versa. Maybe the skinniest guy, the lightweight guy, We don't know. But at the end of the day, the same independent variable is the citrus fruit, the orange, the lemon, the lime, the strawberry. They know. They just trying to be stupid.
Right. I mean, I think what they're getting hung up on again is they're looking at it in a very rigid way. That if you withhold vitamin C and scurvy doesn't develop, they're claiming that that means that lack of vitamin C doesn't cause scurvy, when they're kind of missing the entire point here. Even though everybody's level of deficiency might be different, the mechanism that causes it is still, the lack of vitamin C. I really don't know how else to put it. Like,
well, the description I will use is taking the argument to absurdum. So, if we take the person that we've very cruelly dragged to the desert and dehydrated them and offer them one sip of water from the cap of the Evian bottle, yeah? And we go, oh, no, look, didn't do anything. And then drag them to the extreme and oust them for 15 minutes in some beautiful fresh springs. And we hold them down to make sure that the water has time to work. We hold them down for a good 15, let's call it half an hour. Let's be really empirical, yeah? And then we've done those 2 experiments and we can make the statement that clearly water has nothing to do with it one way or the other, can't we?
Yeah.
Well, this is where the level of argument's at right now, guys, when we're putting water in a cooking pot and popping it in the oven.
right, and that's one part of it. And then the other part that I really feel isn't being grasped is simply, as illustrated by Chaiki, I believe, who came in on Friday and was talking about it, the whole again, pressure versus heat situation. They're not grasping that, you can have 2 things that cause an effect. That doesn't invalidate the other one. And we only determine them by holding everything constant except for your independent variable, and then testing our hypothesis.
Sorry for stepping on you a bit there. Well, I'm having this out with this couple of ballers at present. And my point was, and Adam said this originally, but my point was, if you have zero, like hypothetically, if you have 0 pressure, which is a perfect vacuum, but you also have 0 Kelvin, then you're not going to have boiling water. You have to have some heat energy for boiling water, for water to boil. Now, there is a degassing thing that I've heard Flatside talk about as well that happens with water in a vacuum. So a lot of time people mix up the 2. But you need temperature. You need some heat energy for water to boil, regardless of the pressure. Because in reality, I can walk up to the top of Mount Everest with a bottle of water in my pocket. Right? In reality, I can carry a bottle of water up to the top of Everest. And just because I'm in a lower pressure doesn't mean the water is going to start boiling. But when I add a little bit of heat, it will boil. But I won't need to add as much heat as I will at the base of Mount Everest. Now, hypothetically, no matter what pressure you go to, you need to have some temperature of some kind for the water to boil. Even if it's just an ambient temperature. If you don't have any Kelvin, 0 Kelvin, no boiling. So it is heat. You can cause it to boil with pressure, but that's if you ignore the fact that there is a measurable temperature in the room or in the vacuum. But you still require temperature. You still require heat energy. Otherwise, it's not boiling. That's the end of that.
Right, makes total sense. And again, goes back to basically the same idea as vitamin C and scurvy right there. People may have a different threshold where they reach vitamin C deficiency, but if you withhold it from them, most people will eventually reach a point where they manifest the symptoms of scurvy. So same thing, if you hold the heat level constant and you alter the pressure, ultimately the heat energy is ultimately what's going to manifest in the boiling, even though you are changing pressure as your variable right there. It's just it's making the threshold lower.
You know, I just want to add in, I listened to that whole talk that Nathan did covering the scurvy stuff. And in my heart, as I found the true earth, I was like, yeah, maybe it's a vitamin B deficiency and it's what everybody thinks is true. And taking vitamin C may alleviate it. But in my heart, it could also be something else because I think man's mind is fallible. And there's been a lot of stuff in medicine and science that's been like, oh crap, we thought we were close to the truth, but we got to change it up. And that's how I even came to the flat, stationary topographical plane that we live on. So I'm just telling you, I live a little bit open-minded and open-handed with a lot of stuff.
This is a closed subject.
Yeah. Sorry.
This is a closed subject. What did you say that you're not sure if vitamin C deficiency causes scurvy? Is that what you said?
No. I said there's a possibility in reality that something else could cure it faster and better. We
Negative.
may not know.
Negative. That's an argument from ignorance, by the way. That's a fallacy.
Okay. Well, yeah. I'm just trying to figure stuff out. I may have a lot of stuff wrong, but I love the stationary topographical plane. It ain't no globe.
I got you. I'm tracking with you.
That would require, QE, a redefinition of the term scurvy.
Yes, it would.
For you to be correct, Run Booster, because definition of scurvy is the deficiency of vitamin C. Yeah, as we've said, we've progressed to refine what scurvy meant. What it means is that. So it would be odd in the future that the cause of the deficiency of vitamin C would be something other than the deficiency of vitamin C, wouldn't it?
Yes.
I think to that man that's speaking there, I think that you are making the same mistake a lot of people make. The whole point of scientific method is to take human involvement, human feelings, human wants, and whatever human philosophy out of it. The whole point of it is it's a logical method that either gives you a positive yes or a positive no. Now, a positive no might be a little bit of an oxymoron, but you understand what I mean. It's either yes it causes it or no it doesn't. That's the whole point of scientific method, to take the human involvement out of it. That's why it is formulated the way it's formulated. That's how they know there is nothing else in existence that causes scurvy other than deficiency of vitamin C.
So let me ask you this.
All the human element is taken out of it.
So am I allowed as an inquisitive human to be happy with what they found about vitamin C deficiency is scurvy? But if something is found in the rainforest to heal it 8 times as quickly as vitamin C, would that be a reason to update what people believe today?
Appeal to the future fallacy and argument from ignorance fallacy.
And it doesn't take away the cause of scurvy, which is the lack. It's the lack of vitamin C. The lack of vitamin C causes scurvy.
Yeah.
I understand. I'll stand down. I may be too much of a free thinker.
No, that's okay. You're okay. You're okay to question that, man. No, that's not a problem. It's just some of us know what the deal is. We know the mechanism. So if you don't know the mechanisms of what's going on, you really don't need to. But some of us know the mechanism, and your statement was trying to be nice.
It was probably too what if, right?
It's just a different hypothesis.
Say again?
I was just saying it's probably a little too.
No, I heard
right.
you have a great mic. That little too what if I heard. Yeah, it was that too. But go ahead. Was it Bantha? Go ahead.
I think it was somebody else, but I did want to say too that if something else is discovered, not even to play the what if game though, we have to factor in that there's different nutrients that can help the body absorb vitamin C better too. That's still what debunks the fact that scurvy is caused by vitamin C deficiency. It would just be tackling it in kind of a different way.
Well, no, because if you were going to go into the hypothetical, if something else was found that also cured scurvy, that doesn't mean that vitamin C doesn't cure scurvy. Hypothetically, do you understand? That doesn't.
Yep.
Yes,
debunk the vitamin C cure scurvy. So it doesn't make if there's 10 different things that cure scurvy. Hypothetically, that doesn't change that vitamin C is one of them. Do you understand?
Yeah, as lunatic as that sound, conceptually, you're correct.
I like that you use the word lunatic because maybe my brain goes crazy sometimes because I'm only a year and a half into finding lots of deceptions out there.
Sure.
And my mind's kind of like, well, what if vitamin C cures quote unquote scurvy, but 8 years down the road or 20 years down the road, you get cancer from that method. And this Amazon dream would be better. The whole thing is, what if we don't know all of it? But I don't know if that's too weird. I just think about outside the box, inside the box all the time because this whole V word, I don't know if you can say on here, virus thing's weird and what causes sickness is weird, freaked me out. So I'm just exploring the truth.
No
problem. I think you mentioned another vitamin earlier, and it's a lot more popular. And there's a distinction here between what causes a particular issue and maybe any other cause you get from direct, refined supplementation. They're separate questions that to do with health and medicine, okay, that may or may not be proved scientifically later on. They're distinct from whether or not scurvy is a deficiency of vitamin C. That's what's been proven. Now, like you say, if you want to go and keep taking tablets, make sure you've got 400% of the recommended daily amount of vitamin C. And whether that does or doesn't do anything positive or negative is a separate question that you could look at through the scientific method. But it's a completely separate question, something that's been resolved.
I appreciate the chat. I've got my 3 kids now, so I'm just going to listen. But appreciate you guys.
Yep, no problem.
I saw something on the back of Bear there, and go back as well to Neil is passionate, right? Adam's really knowledgeable. QE, he's kind of the umbrella authority that we're all looking towards. This is just a quick one in terms of people who come to Flat Earth who have a different background or average intelligence or high intelligence or very low intelligence. Either way, some people are passionate. Some people are really, really smart. There's a little bit of a problem when it comes to the people who have just come to Flat Earth and then are so enthralled by it. Like Neil still has the passion for it, and people come to it and they feel excited about Flat Earth. And we all remember how that felt 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 7 years ago. We have more respect for the sort of elders of the trade who have like been around for a long time. But I think there's a little bit of a concern amongst people I've talked to where you guys, mainly guys in this room, are kind of the forefathers at the moment, or the celebrities of Flat Earth, right? So you've got names, you've got shows, and you're touchable as well. So we can talk to you guys. It's a really cool thing to be able to do. But there's also amongst people, and I'm sort of worried about saying this, there's a feeling that you guys are kind of becoming Flat Earth Society 2.0, where it's difficult to be a part of the conversation, even though it's easy to be a part of the conversation. I'm talking right now. Proof, you can get on Discord, you can have a chat with these guys and debate and do whatever you want. But for the people, the real Flat Earthers who have that feeling, they just know, you just know it when you know. They want to be part of the conversation. It's very difficult sometimes when if and education that you don't know everything. You haven't got Adam knows or
Fun guy. I just muted you.
We're losing you.
I just muted you because you were robotic.
Yeah, you.
Hold on, original
Yeah,
D Rose.
Autobot.
Hold on. I'll handle it. Let's see if he can hear us. Fun guy, can you hear us? You don't have to talk. Listen, you're roboting. You had some really good points there, man, and really good conversation points. Can you drop out and then come back in again? There he goes, and he'll be back. We'll check it out. Since I'm the umbrella of authority.
You know, there was a point where I nearly interrupted there, and I thought, shut up.
He was on a roll, though, Adam.
He paid me a compliment just before, so I thought I'll give him leeway.
Until he said Flat Earth Society 2.0. That's
Hold
what
on,
he lost.
he's back.
No, but that, no.
Hold on,
Prick
hold on.
my ears.
Hold on.
That's a description.
Adam!
Yes,
Hold
sir.
on for a second. Fun guy, go ahead.
Are you back?
No. No, your mic. No, sorry, man. Your mic's a train wreck. Can somebody message him
Still on
directly?
Cybertron.
Can somebody message him directly, please, and tell him he's got an issue? That's why I put him on mute. I'd appreciate that.
Autobots, roll out.
I'd appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, we got at maximum 15 minutes for the rest of this show. So if you got your feelings that you need to get out, you need to get them out now.
Well, I'll say something about what was said there. I think I know where he's going. He can correct me. Is that what he was saying? Is that it's difficult, maybe for some people find it difficult to get in on this conversation because maybe of how rigid we are on certain things. Yeah, I can understand from the outside where you might, like with the vitamin C example, how you might see how we're rigid, but it's not that we're trying to be rigid or trying to steer something, like trying to steer this ship in a selfish direction. We're just trying to steer it in the direction of what we can prove what is true. And if we can't prove it and we can't show it's true, and we don't have the geometry and we can't show logically, then we can't be making public claims. And that's the problem. Some people are very open-minded, but they may not understand why the rigidity, I can't say the word, is there with certain topics. It's not that we're trying to be difficult, it's just it is what it is. And any deviation from that is not the truth. And it's the truth we're all supposedly looking for. Because is that not why we moved away from heliocentrism?
It was very well said, Brian. Very well articulated. Thank you very much. Fun guy. We're going to try it again. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on.
And I just joined to say that I think that robot guy is roboting. Just thought you'd like to.
Thanks. Appreciate that, Nathan. Go ahead, fun guy. Try it again. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna put you on mute. I'm gonna do it. So, fun guy, go ahead.
Any better?
Yes, you're better.
Ooh. Nothing worse than a guy roboting or interrupting when they should be talking. Hello, Nathan. I don't know where I got to. I'm sorry if Flat Earth 2.0 was it. I didn't want that to be the main point. I had lots of points. And I didn't hear what Brian just said, but he sounded like he said something. If anyone could summarize the last 2 minutes.
You got up to I think the last intelligible bit was, there was a suggestion that you were alluding as a descriptive point, from what I understand, or analogy that we were being called the new Flat Earth Society 2.0. I think that's the last bit I really heard.
Okay, I'll try to explain what I think people mean by that, and I don't think, like for any instance, you know how we feel about Flat Earth Society, and people always say straight away that that's controlled opposition. I don't think this is that in any way. It's something about the interactive ability of the nature of this discussion. That this is an in-group. Well, it's kind of you guys are the in-group. A voice like mine will say, somebody who's not particularly good at articulating what they want to say, or just has less knowledge, will try to say something. They'll put their head above the parapet, so to speak, and then the priest sort of goes, "Sit down and shut up, idiot." We had that discussion 5 years ago, and I think that's completely fair. And it's kind of a case of, sit in your pew and listen and sort of get up to the speed. I think when there is that in-arguing, like there has been between fractions, of the FE community and like churches do, they just sort of split off, which is fine. And then everyone finds their own brand that they like to listen to. The weird thing about this discussion is that it's also kind of an entertainment business as well, and you'd like to support the people that kind of keep you entertained. If there are any oppositions to what I've said so far, I'd like to hear, and I can make some more points.
I wanted to say something real quick. I wanted to add to what Brian was saying. That rigidity and that intolerance to the nonsensical, fallacious crap, we do that internally. We got thick skin because we're trying to find the truth. We're not trying to bully people, but at the end of the day, this is 2023. This is almost 10 years later, and for somebody to bring the same dumb assertions and claims that we've all known has been debunked and refuted, it's pretty much a waste of time, and that's why we pretty much shut the door. Within, we do the same thing that we do without the people that come in. Adam will jump down my throat. QE will check me in a heartbeat. I don't cry about it. I learn. I understand. We don't have an indoctrination here. We don't have it goes our way or the highway here. We don't have a faction, a sect, nothing like that. We're not like other religions that are trying to propagate their own philosophical, conceptual rhetoric about the truth. The truth is the truth. It's not our subjective truth. We're seeking the truth, whether it be using nature's law and science. That's what makes us science versus pseudoscience in our Discord server. We don't get into, I've been chewed out for bringing up things like the tree stumps being questionably or probably mountains or tartar. We don't discuss that. That's all speculative. And if you want to talk about that, go to journalism, whatever you want to call it.
The word
we're not
is
conciseness.
Hold on a second, let Adam.
There was no need. I was going to make that cheap jibe. Whoever stole that from me. Look, I think what you're saying is we've got an accountability and honesty and a transparency amongst us guys, and that's important. That accountability, honesty, and transparency between us. Yeah. What you appear to be alluding to is I don't really know, because you just said, look, we're 2.0 with this thing that's approachable, accountable, transparent, yeah, and appears to be honest. That's for people to say, yeah. But you just gave testimony, and you're here tonight talking to us. So I don't know what any flat earther could think, other than for some reason I can't get in the Discord channel. But we held up the show tonight for somebody to speak and make the point, because we didn't get, because of whatever technical issues, we held the show, paused the show to hear new opinion. So outside of the alignment to a description of Flat Earth 2.0, the criticism seems to be unfounded, and if anything, contradicted by our behaviour this evening and moving forward. Like I said, we appear to be very accountable, transparent, and honest.
Yeah, that's the problem. I think the problem is. Oh, go on, Brian. Sorry.
No, I go after you, Nathan. Go on. No, I won't step on you.
Well, I just think you're a bunch of gatekeeping shills. So we're on the cusp of discovering free energy, and all you do is preclude people from looking into this stuff and discovering that free energy that might be out there for them. I just think it's a bit of an outrage.
Thanks, Nathan, for clearing that up.
They got the chat, didn't they?
Follow that with what I'm going to say, because what I'm going to say is supposed to be profound, but now it's a joke. But there's 3 steps to truth, right? You look for it. Step 1, you're looking to find it. What is the truth? Two, you find it, but then there's the third one, and that's the most important one. That is, you must uphold it then consistently. And that's what we're about. Once we find the truth, we uphold it. And that's why people think we're rigid. We're not trying to be rigid. The truth is the truth. Call the truth rigid if you want, but it is what it is. And the upholding of it is the difficult part, and that's what makes people appear like they're being rigid or not open-minded when they're just upholding what can be proven and what is true.
But exactly, you look for the truth of ether, you find the truth of counter space, and then, you know, what do you guys do? You shut down the truth of ether, shut down that ether science. It's just, you know, it's disappointing.
Thanks, Nathan, for helping out. I appreciate that.
No, I'm dead serious. I don't get it. You know, I feel slightly deprived of this by you shills who have stopped this conversation going forth with your fundy mute buttons. You know, you're shutting down this conversation all the time. There's people out there that are looking into this stuff, and you don't want to help them. You want to call them idiots. It just seems very unreasonable.
Why is Adam Meakin calling me through Ballbusters?
He's drunk. Probably pressed the button by accident.
All right, smart ass.
Now hold on.
No
Hold on, D-Rose.
Concise.
Hold on, D-Rose. So Nathan Oakley had made the claim that we are snuffing out the ether discussion. Nathan Oakley, sir, can you define what ether is?
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, what is it? I missed it.
Counter space.
What's counter space?
Well, it's what you have because you can't have no thing. So you can't have nothing. You have to have something. So having no thing would mean that you have that area called counter space, the truth behind the ether. The thing that you're all suppressing and stopping the, you know, us from discovering the free energy that will come from that ether. You're censoring it. That truth. There you go. To find it. No problem.
There is a big problem because I really didn't get the definition of that counter space. Can you repeat that?
Yeah. I mean, I don't understand why you're slow, but repeat it if you wish. You can't have no. Do you understand that you can't have nothing? You can't have no thing. You've got to have something.
Why do we got to have something?
You can't have no thing, obviously. I mean, you're just being silly. I mean, you're just like pretending to be stupid and not get this stuff. You know, don't play dumb. We all know that you understand this stuff. You're just pretending to be dumb so you can suppress it.
So are you saying the no thing or the something is the ether around the no thing of counter space?
You can't have no thing. Stop playing dumb. So nobody's impressed with this. We all know what you're playing. We know your game. Just denying ether. I've explained it to you. I've defined it for you twice.
The definition was not sufficient to move forward.
Well, what is there then? You tell me what's out there. It's not space, is it? You know you can't have space. So what's out there? You can't have nothing.
Are you saying you can't have length, width, and height? That's space.
No, you can't. Well, we've already debunked space. I mean, I'm still with you on that. So you've got to have something. You can't have nothing. And no thing is ether. The something that is no thing.
So
in space that is debunked.
So the no thing, the nothing is ether.
Yeah. The thing you're suppressing, stopping us finding the free energy, benefiting everybody. And all you want to do is stop us. Call people like Whitsitt, who is frankly a genius, stupid. That's all you do. You haven't actually got an argument other than to call him stupid and call him shitsit. That doesn't make him wrong. He's actually a genius.
So the no thing, I just wanted to pull that out. The no thing is the ether. So nothing is ether is what you're telling us.
Yeah, what else is like going to be traveling through?
As emissary, I don't want you to attack Nathan anymore, QA, because frankly, that's the best and most accurate description I've heard of ether.
Yeah, but he said we can't have nothing, and then he called the no thing nothing ether.
Exactly. That's the best and most accurate description I've heard. It's, as far as I can tell, and forgive my brief summary, ether is nothing.
Fair enough.
And and that's kind of what I'm working with right now until somebody presents anything beyond that point. And I think
Maybe on that point, that's where we've got all the science for it. I didn't just come up with that. I've got that from the experimental data. Michelson-Morley. Have you never heard of it? That's the experiment.
Experiment. You
Right,
got a
well-
hypothesis?
Yes.
Okay. What's the hypothesis? And identify the variables in the hypothesis for us, please.
Counter space is the dependent variable. Ether is the independent variable. If ether, then counter space. If no ether, I've already gone through it. Well, it's like I'm repeating myself over and over again. Fine, I'll put it in a hypothesis. If no ether, then no counter space.
So
now
you
we've got ether. We know we've got ether.
excuse me, excuse me.
You don't want me to tell the truth. Go through me.
I just wanted to clarify the dependent variable was counter space. Can you show us that?
Yes, I can.
Okay, go ahead.
Michelson-Morley.
No, that's Michelson-Morley. That's not counter space.
It's proving out
Mine's a
the
square.
counter space. It's proving it. It's a scientific experiment. That's what proves ether.
So
Science has known this for hundreds of years.
science doesn't know anything. It's a reification fallacy. It doesn't have a memory. It's not sentient.
Does sometimes it changes its mind, and tomorrow it might be different, but ultimately it does know, and it's known for centuries.
All right, we're done with. Okay, we've segued away from the fun guy. Fun guy, you still there?
No. Back to this concise.
No.
I know you're not about being
I think
as
you'll find
infrequently as
Daryl knows. Daryl's open-minded to this stuff. He's not a shill.
concise, long-winded as y'all are.
So fun.
I want to talk to Daryl about it. I think now that you,
I'm gonna mute you here in a second.
Sorry.
Fun guy. Do you understand what was spoken? Any issues with that?
I thought it was a marvelous. The whole section was brilliant. It summed up the whole thing. I'm not a ether believer. There's lots of things that aren't physical. Every thought in your mind is very difficult to be proven physical. I don't want to get into any of that. And I know it's a sort of a fun hot topic to be arguing back and forth between Jaren. Jaren has his place, and everyone else has their place. I think the point I was trying to make is to allow people to be what they're best at, rather than kind of snapping each other off at the knees and sort of getting bitchy about it.
One question then before you go. Does science prove things, fungi?
Yes.
And I'm happy. Because that's the only reason. Yeah. Leave with that clear distinguishment tonight. Either it does or it doesn't. And after all this effort, if you come out with it doesn't, good luck. And good luck in whatever you choose to use to make your choices in life moving forward, yeah? In terms of the distinguishment of reality. Good luck to you.
So, I'm on a battlefield. Hold on. So, I'm on a battlefield, right? And I'm fighting the enemy, and it comes out that I trip over, I break my leg, my weapon's off to the side, and one of my compatriots, he's walking by, he looks over, he takes my weapon and takes my food, right? And then he skirts over enemy lines. And what you're saying is that I should just let them go and let them do what they do. Is that what you're telling me?
No, give him hell, man. Just give him absolute shit, like you have. It wasn't the point I was trying to make. I know it sort of ended up being about Jaren, but I've never watched his show once. He seems like he's pretty entertaining and like he's very professional. I could admire his professionalism, and that's who everyone went to. We sort of all admire him from the beginning, and he had this whole team and stuff. And he does seem a bit so sad and lonely now, and people have moved away. But he was still a force, and should always be remembered as that. But no, I completely agree. Yeah, give him hell. And
fair enough.
If anyone is a shill, then
yeah, but you're only as good as your last gig, and that's the problem in life.
Exactly.
You are only as good as that. I listen a lot to other channels,
Super chats.
I don't comment on their comment section. I don't join in on their live streams,
Ah,
on their live chats and all
Brian,
that. I listen to a lot to other channels.
Brian!
Most of the time, we will come up, FED and QE Live,
Jesus.
Ballbusters.
So it's just a
And there'll be
super
critiques,
chat.
and even one of those channels calls us Flat Earth Society 2.0.
Brian, Brian, can you hear us?
But what happens with the other
Holy
channels
shit. Go ahead, Betty.
That's too funny.
He can't hear us.
Oh, yeah, I understand. Well, okay, Retro Bill says, thanks for everything you do, QE. Please, everyone, smash the likes and support the show, as well as Chocolate Saints Give Send Go campaign. And another from Retro Bill, he says, black holes are giant molecular nets caused by electrostatics, allowing ether to affect counter space.
Thanks, guys. Retro Bill, classic as usual. Thank you, sir. Is Brian still talking on mute? Let's see. Nope. Brian, can
I
you
was talking. Yeah.
can you hear us?
I can, yeah. Could you not hear me, no?
We could hear you. We were trying to stop you just for a second for the super chat, but we allow you continue.
Oh, yeah, I didn't hear you asking that about super chats. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. We're good. Go ahead. Continue, please.
Yeah, I'll make it more concise. Basically, I listen to these other channels. Some of them even call us Flat Earth Society 2.0. And there's a lot of critique about what we do or say on our side. And most of the time, the critique is either due to misrepresentation or purely ignorance, misunderstanding, right, of what we're talking about. But what normally happens is after they're finished, this seems to be all of these other channels, once they're finished giving out about us, right, which is supposed to bring big up their channels, they then get to no conclusions. When they stop giving out about us, they start doing their own thing, they end up not coming to any solid conclusions. We come to solid conclusions. They don't come to solid conclusions. Most of them don't come to any conclusions at all. It's always up in the air. It's always maybe, and if this and if that. Most of them don't get to any solid conclusions. And even the conclusions they do get to, there might be a geometric conclusion or whatever. Even at that, it's not really a proof of something. It's just an axiom, for instance. So it's not, it's like critiquing us and calling us Flat Earth Society 2.0 or seeing us that way. That's all grand, but you've got to come up with conclusions that matter. We come up with conclusions. We get to a conclusion. We have something to say that we can uphold. There's no point in critiquing that if you're not going to be able to at least do that. That would be my critique of them.
Can you define concise for us?
No, I make a point of never learning what that means. Because I know I'm not going to uphold it.
Yeah, thanks, Brian. Yeah. Anything else? Is Fun Guy still here? Yeah.
Anything else from me?
Yeah. So are we approachable?
Very approachable.
Are we quite reasonable?
Incredibly reasonable.
Right. So everyone is not. There is no one in FED that is above reproach, even me. So what we do, because we've been lied to all our lives, right? We're tired of the damn lies, right? So what we do, we are hyper critical of any claim being made. Now, if somebody offers a claim and they can provide support with it, they're good to go. We have no issues in this context. Now, are we friendly off to the side and we, play grab ass? Sometimes we do that. However, but when it comes down to the subject on why we're here, we are quite serious about it. I don't find us unreasonable at all. We're portrayed that way because they just don't have anything else to say but that. But that's not really the way it goes. So nobody is above reproach, and every single word that you claim out of that mouth, you better support it or you're going to be exposed. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is, but it has to be that way. Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Amen.
Yeah.
Just quickly, how come no one's written a book yet?
What about?
They don't have the truth.
What about? I'm not a good.
Maybe that's quite. Why do you write books? Because you've done
So you can
something.
buy them for people's presents.
Well, you've done something that's worth doing, or you want to make money. I don't want to make money through this route, and I've not done anything that's worth talking about yet. Not achieved out any of us yet. We've got our own realization, but we've not achieved anything. We've no reason to write a book. That would be my answer. Might do one day. Wouldn't it be great if there was a reason to bother for all that effort to write a book, other than money?
Well,
I'm gonna write a book. I'm gonna write a book about how infrequently I get to talk to the point where I got to do super chats to get my point across. And then when I do talk, then I got to be hearing things like the word of the day is concise. Kiss my ass.
D Rose is Neil 2.0.
Kiss my ass.
Now, you see, that's a likeness I can get on board with. That makes sense. I can see the analogy. I might be up to argument with it. But with regards to us being Flat Earth 2.0, I would take objection to that, genuinely. I think the door's open, isn't it? It's there. There's lots of methods to get to. Maybe not even to us directly. Look at Righteous. Look at what he does. Why is he doing it? He keeps that door open. His efforts. Yeah, he might not get to us directly, you know. But if you're genuine, it's what? What did they say? Everybody's like 6 degrees from anybody on the planet. To get to this, you're like 2-3 degrees at tops to get to speak to anybody. It doesn't require a lot, yeah, other than not chatting shit, which is our major objection. Not denying why we're all here, taking us on goose chasers. Supporting argument by saying why, if I put a pot in an oven, the water doesn't boil. Having never made a casserole in my life.
If people want to call any group Flat Earth Society 2.0, then they have to define Flat Earth Society 1.0. Because Flat Earth Society 1.0 is a long, long time ago. It's not the Flat Earth Society that you see as a website these days. That's a completely different group that were set up. The original Flat Earth Society were basically just a Christian group who looked into physics and whatever, geometry. That's the original Flat Earth Society. So are we Flat Earth Society 2.0? I suppose you could say that if you take the original, real Flat Earth Society into account. But there's
Are you talking about Charles Lawson, Brian?
Sorry?
We're talking about that guy, Charles Lawson, or I'm sorry, my mic's not working?
No, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, Brian, you're talking about Charles Lawson, or what's that guy's name? The guy from the 80s that's on Jose Meza's channel doing the thing on the TV show back in like 1985. You talking about that guy?
That voice, hold on, Brian. That voice sounds heavily familiar.
It's like it should Quantum Eraser.
Say again.
It should Quantum Eraser. This is the executive officer of the Red October. How you doing, man?
Yeah, that's right. That's who I thought it was, man. Good to see you again.
Hey, welcome to the end of the world.
Yeah. A lot of people are telling me about that, yeah. Sorry, Brian, I interrupted you. He asked you a question. Sorry, I really interrupted you. I'm a worm.
No, it's fine. It's your show. I just do what you tell me to do. No, well, I'm speaking more. I know you're talking about Charles K. Johnson. Well, Charles K. Johnson and the man Samuel Shenton that came just before Charles K. Johnson. I'm going back into the 1800s, way back into Lady Jane, Samuel Roboth, and people like that, who were the flat earthers back then. They were the first group to that I'm aware of back at that time. Those people from back at that era to come out and say, look, this is wrong. And then after that, you have the likes of Samuel Shenton and Charles K. Johnson. So technically, we're Flat Earth Society 3. Although Samuel Shenton called his organization the International Flat Earth Research Society. But basically, we're 3.0. And that includes everyone that's in this at the moment, really. Not just our FED group or something. It's everybody is part of Flat Earth 3.0. So you can't point the finger at me and say, you're Flat Earth Society, whatever. Because if you're involved in this, then so are you. If you're on the flat side, if you understand.
That goes for the Globers too. Yeah, the Globers are also the reason why Flat Earthers have their platform, and the Flat Earthers are why Globers have their platform. They actually help out each other, just like Republicans and Democrats, because it's actually part of the same lie in many ways.
Well, I can't speak on that. I can only speak from my own place.
I can think in history, Brian, where people reclaim a word.
Adam, you little stinker, you. What was the word, Adam? I want the full phrase, not the single word. The full phrase.
I've no desire to repeat it. It's more important as to ask why. Do we need to reclaim anything? Yeah. What are we here for? To reclaim words or to reaffirm whether we could prove things?
I'm sorry, is that rhetorical?
No, not really. What are we here for? You know, what's the stand for?
Well, I'll give you the answer right now. You're here to argue about the definitions for the rest of your life. That's it. You're just going to argue about definitions. Nothing else matters, and that's it. You're done. And then Eddie Bravo will say, "Look into it," and that's it.
Seems so a path I would loathe to follow, but yeah.
It's Groundhog Day in most of these places. Why do you think QE is so pissed off all the time? Because the boat hasn't left the island.
It's because all the good shit, all the good debate happens when he's got to get up before breakfast. That's why he's so angry all the time.
I am not. Because that's not true. I am not angry all the time. That is a mischaracterization.
99.
No, that's exactly why you're doing these more considered appraisals later on in the evening when you're blood sugar level.
Can I redirect? Can I correct myself?
It's more of a quality observation rather than quantitative. You know.
Go ahead, correct. Go ahead.
We're talking total correlation here between his blood sugars and his mood.
Yeah, there's a definite cause and effect relationship there, not correlation. Go ahead. You can go ahead and reword what you said.
Yeah, what were we talking about? Yeah, we don't really need to worry about the definitions. I see a lot of people talking about definitions, but there's just not a lot of, cowbell, as you say. I think that's what you're looking for. QE would actually, I'm sorry, let me redirect that. QE and his frustrations with the lore of Sodom and Gomorrah. You can take people out of Sodom and Gomorrah, but you can't take the Sodom and Gomorrah out of the people. Sorry, Flat Earth. Thanks.
Appreciate it.
There's the super chats.
Adam, can you take care of the super chats? Betty had to leave.
I can. The first one, Unatox Femo, £2 super chat. When I grow up, I will work on improving my IQ. Thanks, Unitox. Second one, Canadian dollars. Godzilla 37. Shout out to EXO.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Just
Baruch Hashem. Thanks, Godzilla.
Yeah. That's EXO.
There's nothing wrong with Canadian dollars.
No,
I
there
didn't
isn't.
know that. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking you have to qualify it when it's got a dollar sign. You know,
You don't have
pound
to,
sign.
Adam. You don't have to worry about the amount. Just shout out the who it is in the super chat. The amount doesn't matter.
Yeah, Adam, I need you to announce the first guy again. I didn't
If
understand what
somebody
you said.
puts 1 Bitcoin in, is it not worth mentioning that?
If it's like like outrageous, out of reason, then I would suppose. But everything within reason is just announce the super chat. It'll be fine.
Yeah,
I
if it's
want Adam
normie,
to-
it fits. Go ahead.
I want Adam to mention the guy's name on the first super chat.
It's Unitox
on the
Femo.
top. Thank you.
Unitox Femo, yeah.
Or
Una.
AKA Sasha.
Yeah. Sasha's easier, isn't it?
Sasha came in earlier and his mic was roboting real bad. I think there's a case of roboting today in Discord for some reason. There's been a lot of people that have been having that problem.
Turning down the bitrate fixes it, or can fix it.
Thanks, Righteous.
Right.
I think
Is
there
that
was
a cause and effect relationship, Righteous, or probability?
I think there was a question asked previously. Why are we out here? I think that's a personal question that everyone has to answer for themselves. Somebody asked that
I'll
question.
go first, QE. Yeah, thanks.
Yep. You gonna go first?
Yeah, let's. Okay, ready. Oh, can I change my mind? I want to go last. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm gonna change my mind at last.
Just kidding. You know what? I've waited to be here for 2 years. I'll wait 5 more minutes. Take your time.
It's really simple for me. You already know I've mentioned it many times. I got tired of being lied to. Right. First, I found it disrespectful to be just blatantly lie. I got tired of the lies. It didn't matter what context, what subject. Lies a lie to me, and I just got sick of it. And I won't put up with it. And if you hear frustration or contempt in my voice, then it's coming from there. I won't stand for it. And my mission when I first came out here, long before Flat Earth, my mission is to expose pretender clown frauds. Period. End of story. You don't like me? That's fine. I'm good to go. I have friends. It doesn't matter. It's bottom line. Any issues? That's as concise as I could be with it.
Adam, are you going next?
Yeah, good evening. My name's Adam. I'm a flat earther.
I can help you. You can still be helped, Adam. Continue. Go
ahead. Why do I do it? Why do I get beat up in Rome and get up? Initially, curiosity, stubbornness, yeah. And then through Flat Earth, knowing there's a creator. And then you look at the world, don't you? And you go, well, what the fuck can I do? Not a lot I can do. I'm a chemist. I'm a pharmacist. Couldn't do a lot in the last pandemic. Air quotes. Yeah. Couldn't do a lot there. You can only look at where you're stuck in life. And you can stand up when there's a time to stand up. In the little world that it might appear to you to be. So why do I bother? Because of that. Because there's not a lot I can do. Might be able to join a march. Might be able to do this, express an opinion here. I've gathered a lot of wisdom, knowledge, whatever on this route, and smelt a lot of shit. So maybe I can share that. You know, I can smell a bit of shit from a mile off. What's the ultimatum? Why do I bother? Is there a purpose of me being here? Yeah, because if we can at least show people how much they've been lied to, then just like me, it can, whatever denomination, you can realize there's a creator and there's fundamentally a purpose to your life. That seems a noble cause to me and worth investing time and losing money over.
All right, we're not going through every one here, are we? Or are we?
Well, I can make it fast, boy. If you want.
I highly doubt that.
Come on, that is
I
some
can.
claim, isn't it? That is no. Somebody get a clock.
What was the question?
Get a clock on it.
I make it.
Somebody asked. Hold on a second, Brian. Somebody asked what was the question. Why are you out here? Is the question. Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, the honest answer is because I'm compelled to be. There's no other more honest way to say it. That's it. So, thank you.
Wow. Jeez. Okay.
Okay, I'll go next.
Oh, brother.
I'm here because I have no friends. And no, let me stop. No, I'm about truth and righteousness to the best of my ability, and I demand it from others. And not just talking about flat earth, but a lot of authoritative figures and elitists or whatever you want to call them in mainstream media and social media. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of the brainwashing. I'm tired of the arrogant ignoramuses that smile in your face and deceive you. And I'm at war with them. That's it. I'm out to expose them. And it's a necessity for me.
Thanks. Anyone else want to volunteer?
Can I just make a point, not necessarily why I'm here, but can I just finish my point from the Flat Earth Society 2.0?
Please.
Earlier?
Please, go ahead.
I think, and from thinking about it, because I know how stringent you guys are, it's the thing that draws me towards this, and the people who seek truth and the guys like Adam who smell shit, they sort of come together. I think being Flat Earth Society 2.0 would be a compliment. It means that you would be the center, like the authority in some respects. The Flat Earth Society probably didn't know that everyone was going to point the finger and the fun at them. And their science didn't hold up because they hadn't really thought it through, like I think you guys have done. And that's a tricky position to be in, because then it kind of would, from my point of view, I would point to you guys as the center of the FE world, and that would be a lot of responsibility. And I'm sure you guys have thought about that. So I just want to say, to say that you might be Flat Earth Society 2.0 is no bad thing. I think that it just means that you guys could be the authority that became the center, that stood up and took the same amount of flack that the Flat Earth Society have done and always will do.
This is not some apostolic line of authority. Yeah, it doesn't require anybody to be part of any club. Yeah, if you can cite and prove something through the scientific method, through empiricism, yeah, to validate what you're talking about, then away you go. There is no club. Nobody here wants a club. It's very flattering to hear those sorts of things. That's the antithesis of what's required. There's been lots of clubs, aren't there? Yeah, we're here to be called wrong. Show me one bag of ether, and I'm happy. Yeah, and we'll move forwards. We don't have any opposition, any claim to anything. Yeah, we're very different amongst the Flat Earth debate team on even our theological views. It's not why we're unified. Yeah, we're unified because we've been lied to. Yeah, once we've got that settled to the 99%, we can argue the nuance. Yeah, but let's use the tools we've got that got us here. Let's not just get rid of them.
Hear, hear. Anyone else? Speak now or hold your peace, not forever.
Yeah, we don't have time for all that, QE. So I'll just say, preach the word, be instant in season, out of season, reprove, rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but after their own lust they shall heap to themselves teachers, having itching ears, and they shall turn away their ears from the truth, and they shall be turned into fables. But watch thou in all things, endure afflictions, do the work of an evangelist, make proof fully of thy ministry. Baruch Hashem Adonai Elohim. There's levels to this, guys, and we're coming for you because there's only one truth, and his name is Jesus Christ.
Very well said. I heard you say I heard
Amen.
I heard you say long suffering, and I immediately felt guilty. So thanks for that.
Baruch Hashem, thank you.
Adam, take us home, sir.
Hang on. We have one more.
Oh, we have one more? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. The reason I'm here is because I'm sick and tired of living in the Matrix.
Fair enough.
Well, nobody promises you exit from that. Yeah. Anyone does, they're a liar, aren't they? Yeah. Nobody nobody stood up and said, I'm the new Morpheus, or alluded to anything.
None of us are getting out of here alive. Sorry, Adam. Sorry.
Well, not out here alive. Nobody's professing to say this is the route out. I think you have, and I, outside of, I respect your guys saying that Jesus Christ and Christianity is the way out. That's a separate issue. But the argument we're in here is nobody's professing any worldview in here. Yeah. That's not the purpose of this. And the fundamental, and maybe this is the way out, QE, yeah? Why were we here tonight? What's all this kerfuffle, shenanigans that's going off right now? What's it all about? What's the ultimate reason that people are bothering to engage? Why there's been so many viewers tonight on here and on Nathan's shows? Because it's important whether science does prove things or not. Yeah, we spent a long time realizing what pseudoscience was, and now we're being challenged again. It's up to you guys. Nobody's here some arbiter for you. It's up to you guys. As QE said, what are you going to do?
They're going to take a beating. What are you talking about? You think the truth at the end of the ages is going to be a group called Flat Earthers? It's not. So they're going to get their ass beat too, and they're going to wake up to the real truth eventually.
That's not what I was alluding to. Yeah, end times or where we're at. Yeah, but.
Well, I know you weren't. That's, yeah, it's someone's going to eventually, yeah.
I'm not denying that. It all feels good, baby. Yeah.
I'm back. What did I miss?
Adam, was that your taking us home and I missed it?
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
And I think this could be the round out. Hence why I prefaced it with that. You know, it was the clue.
I'm going to push you off the edge.
What I missed.
You're roboting Neil, and we're about to close out. Adam, short little close out.
Again, I want to think of something new now. I'll be a bit more philosophical then. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I have alluded to it. So how do you get on this path? What's the purpose of this path? Yeah. Did you get on it to find a new thing that was unfounded, having found a method to get off the path that you realized was false, using a methodology, realizing how you've been mugged off? What are you here for? If you're here for any kind of spiritual guidance, mental, yeah? Nobody's offering that. Nobody's offering some superior opinion. The best you're offering is honest, genuine critique. That's all you'll get. Nobody here claims to know everything. That'll do for me, Cocker.
It claims it's the exchange of virtual photons that don't actually exist and are never the input or output of any experiment and is just a mathematical equation. They had to make up a new fairy tale called virtual photons. So I find it baffling that now we're in 2023 and we've shown there's an ether. We can look in a vacuum chamber and there's an ether. There's a Casimir effect, attractive and repulsive.
You know what I find truly baffling, absolutely stupefying, is that out of one side of your face, you poo-poo virtual photons, and yet out the other side of your face, you appeal to the Casimir effect as your proof for your fuckwit ether. All the while, the shining poster children for the Casimir effect are
virtual photons. Virtual photons. Virtual photons. Virtual photons.
You are so dumb. Damn.
Ryan, listen to this part right here. It's going to destroy your whole argument. Listen to this one sentence. You can't even claim density at all without acknowledging electrostatics because all matter is held together by electrostatics. All molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. That's right.
The molecular model, you disagree with that, the atomic model.
Yeah, I disagree with the atomic model. Absolutely.
Basically, if you have a vacuum chamber, which it does still have some molecules in it, right?
All molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. That's right.
The molecular model, you disagree with that, the atomic model.
Yeah, I disagree with the atomic model. Absolutely. All molecular and intermolecular attractive forces are electrostatic in nature. That's right.
Shit's at 60. Listen to this part right here. It's going to destroy your whole Dunning-Kruger doublespeak. You can't even claim electrostatics at all without acknowledging the existence of
atoms.
Because intra and intermolecular forces are created by molecules, and molecules are made up of
atoms.
You dumbass cracker.